Okay, and we're back with Citizen Sleeper. Today we're going to be playing with the expansions, the three-part story, apparently, and finish the game eventually. Hopefully, today. Also, hopefully it doesn't take 7 hours to do that, because I'm a bit tired. Anyway, also Citizen Sleeper 2 should be releasing today, the 30th of January, so that's gonna be cool. We're at 62 cycles, and they said the eye wouldn't be lasting another 100. But it doesn't seem like it's gonna happen anyway. Okay, so we've done all the jobs, done all the drives, except for the last one, to escape. Or to finish the game, basically. There's a timer right now on the flotilla, the side reel. But we're gonna be skipping that, instead going all the way up north to the refugees who needed some supplies. In the form of mushrooms, which we can provide. All the way out here. Welcome to Episode Flux. As the first of the 3 episodic updates to Citizen Sleeper, telling the story of the refugee flotilla which has arrived at the Eye. All 3 episodes are now available. Completing the supply girl action will begin the episode, where it's meant for late game play. Ash asks you to bring supplies, and fragrant eye-grown girl caps seem like the perfect thing to impress her. It's repeatable action too. You came! Peak smiles as you walk into the climbing briars cargo hold, behind a gloomy Eshe. They brought mushrooms. Eshe tosses the mushroom caps onto the crate, raising the eyebrows at Peak. Peak gives her a look. Thank you, Sleeper. They pick one up and sniff at it. Are these edible? Yeah, try it. Vicky squints at you and the mushroom before delicately putting it back down. I'll wait. We're not so used to fresh produce. Eshe is securing crates as you speak and doesn't look up. Hawthorne doesn't have much in the way of farming. Hawthorne? We've heard that before. Desolation we grew up on. Eshe wipes off her hand on a rag. XPR loves to name their property after natural things. That's about as far as their relationship with plant life goes. XPR? Is in irrigation? Either way, we are done with that place, which is all you need to know. Eshe leans back against the crate that she was securing. We're going to need more than a few mushrooms if you want to help those refugees. But what is it that they need? Food, water, components, a whole lot of things. Eshe stands and I walk over to the mushrooms you brought, placing them into a small container with care. The problem isn't just getting supplies, it's getting them through to the ships. Can you fly? And get the briar seized for breaching quarantine? No thanks. We were lucky we got here before the cordon was set up. That's the only reason we're on this side. The quarantine? The Eye has a closed-loop life support system, like any orbital installation. Any unfamiliar illness or significantly increased strain on life support could cause a cascading collapse in its system. Are we making excuses for these bureaucrats now? I don't think that's much of an excuse. They do have a limited amount of air, you know. We're being realistic, Eshe. But these people aren't an increased strain. They're living people. Even calling them refugees is just a way of turning a lot of scared, desperate people into a single monolithic group. Okay, but you know we have like a finite amount of air, and water, and food. Eshe slides the container full of mushrooms into one. So where are they gonna live? The wastes? It seems like the low end and the spire are pretty full. Eshe slides the container full of mushrooms into one of the cargo holds racks. Look, as much as I like to chat, we've still got a lot of space to fill this hold. So if you're going to help. They said that in the old times, the Eye was a welcoming place for refugees. That's why the low end and the pillar got reclaimed. It seems like they're gonna have to make some efforts to reclaim more parts of the ring if they're gonna keep receiving people. I think Eshe is trying to say that we need your help and quickly. Refugees behind the cordon, they won't be able to hold out infinitely. We need to get supplies to them in the next 12 cycles, or Heaven Hage will have to bear the responsibility for what happens next. What can I do? There's 3 things we need to secure: water, food, and scrap components for ship repairs. Water we can find a way to source, or my preference, just siphon off the underground reservoirs in the Greenway. Eshe. For food, things could be tricky. Those mushrooms are delicious, I'm sure, but no way we could get enough volume to feed a flotilla. I saw an algae stack on the way over, if we can get access. No more stealing, Eshe. I didn't say steal. If we can get access, we can work the stack, harvest some algae for the flotilla. Those stacks churn out vast quantities in short timescales. And the repair components? Just look around. This whole place is made of scrap. And I'm sure the Sleeper has their sources. They can bring them right here. Get everything before time runs out. We get most of it, also good. Either way, in 12 cycles, I'm going to take what we have and go. How will you get through? I thought I would leave that up to you, Peak. Are you serious? Eshe, I know we said we would help the flotilla, but at what point? Take this seriously, Eshe. I don't know the first thing about breaching a quarantine corridor. Maybe not, but they might. Me? They stepped out of an SNR facility, didn't they? Plus, they've been here longer than us. You're always trying to get me to find help. Here it is. Help. I swear to. I need to think this one through. Meet me at a cordon in a couple of cycles, Sleeper. Maybe we can figure something out. Meanwhile, you can help me acquire the supplies, discreetly. We have to keep this quiet, keep the Avanhage out of the loop. Once they get suspicious, this is all over for us. This is not a very long-term plan. After this one run, what's gonna happen? This is all suddenly seems a little too real, too dangerous. You've only just found your feet on the eye. There's not a time for causing trouble. Come find us. We'll be out there trying to pull this all together. Peak, come help. Sleeper, look, we didn't choose this either. Help us finish this. We got a base camp on the Broken Spoke. You're welcome to rest there anytime you want. We're in this together. As you leave the climbing briar, you look out to the broken edge of the Ice Rings, where Avanhage cordon blinks it with tiny red lights. What are you getting yourself into? The base camp. I can sleep here. What do they need? Oof, 8 scrap components, huh? Or scrap. That's all I can do? Scrap and nothing else? Oh, the algae stack and the reservoir. If I had to make a choice, I'll prioritize the siphon water, pack sensors. Avanhage alert. Water for the flotilla. I can reduce the alert, or I can get water. I had a pretty good dice. The only way for Essa to get enough water is to get us to siphon it directly from the station's reservoirs. Avanhage will not be pleased. Can I just like rat them out? This is really not gonna be helping anybody doing anything. Also, I got some scrap. Here's some water. And we get a bunch of random scrap. Let me see if I can go back to Avanhage after this. The algae stack. Negotiate access. Only uses energy. It's an engage action. You have to persuade them if you want to get in. Got a 1. I can lose some energy maybe. A bit. It's not too bad. Yeah. Bit of energy loss. Let's go back and see if I can rat them out. And also see when the salvagers next come in. And get a look at my mushrooms. We got so many things to do. Nope, can't rat them out. Alright, what about the salvagers? 4 cycles. Okay, let's take a nap in our repaired unit. We did get lots of scrap today, which is pretty good. Should help me keep my repairs up, at the very least. But it also means that eventually we're gonna be going beyond the point where the big colony ship is gonna be leaving the place forever. How many cycles do I have for that to happen? That'll be another quest that's gonna be interrupting us for a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more cycles. Got it. Let me look at my mushrooms. We gotta harvest them right now. Sure. It does help me make more serum to save myself. Yoink. That should be enough for another batch of serum, right? Yes. I can sell some more for monies. Stabilizer, good. This should be the last one I need. I don't think I should collect some more spores, but I'll do it anyway. Okay, let me get a guaranteed critical success. So we get all the spores we need right away. Up. Excuse me. One last dice for today. I'm gonna re-roll it. Ooh, good one. Let's go and keep stealing some water. Might get some more scrap. Nope. Halfway through with the water for the Flotilla questline. Excuse me. It's a nice little cycle we got going. Oh, I forgot to eat. As you leave, you find a note pinned to the outside of your door. It reads, "Sleeper, there's something you need to see. Bring me the coordinate as soon as you can. Just keep heading around the ring till you hit the flotilla. I'll be waiting. Peek. You're going to do this. Time to make a plan." Let me just eat a bit first. Yoink. Wee food. That'll help. Let's see what the plan is gonna be like. Oh. Oh, you can see the ships. The cautious spacer. Sleeper, Pete catches your attention from the shadowy corner where they were leaning against. Any trouble getting here? This place is huge. So it really is. Avonhage has been busy. Come, take a look at this. They beckon you across to a nearby window, which looks across the ruined ring to the blinking red lights of the Avonhage cordon. The cordon's temporary structures, a net of metal struts meant to detect and dissuade any ships from entering or leaving, jut out the black. And all around the tugs flit, securing them in place. Securing them in place and tending to the red blinking drones that demark the quarantine. An impressive and worrying sight. What do you think? How will we get through? You can just go for it. They don't really. I don't think Avonhage has, or nobody really has any heavy firearms. All we've seen are batons. Actually, no. The guards of Avonhage do have guns. Never mind. You can use the tugs. As an escort, you mean? I thought we could fit all the supplies on one of those tugs, but if it seemed like the Briar was being officially escorted through the cordon, then we'd be stuck inside. Peek turns away from the window. She's already wrapped us up into something hairy, hasn't she? The question is spoken under their breath, and they don't seem to expect an answer. Why? You don't think it's a worthy cause? We ran into them when we escaped Hawthorne. Eshe insisted we investigate the distress signal. I'm not saying we shouldn't have. It's just... forget it. Let's focus on the plan. It doesn't matter why. We're the ones who are going to help them. The way I see it, there are 3 parts to making it through that corridor. Deception, distraction, and speed. We'll need all of them for a clean passage through. Deception means tricking the cordon security into thinking that we're meant to be there. Maybe a tug escort. Distractions, meanwhile, will be all about diverting attention so that no one looks too hard. Then speed will make sure that the Briar is ready to roll. Perhaps we can do a little work on the ship to get her ready. Eshe wouldn't mind. How does that sound? Risky. There's always going to be risk. That's how it works. 10 cycles left. 10 cycles to gather the supplies and prep the plant. It's tight. Indeed. If it goes wrong, just get out, okay? I'll follow. Eshe anywhere, but you don't need to be jacked down. We'll be fine. We've done much worse. Let's get to it. I'll tell Eshe about the improvements to the Briar and the rest. Let's explore the cordon as best we can and look for openings. I have no idea what guardian angel sent you to us, Sleeper, but I'm very glad they did. We got a new drive. So we can get some intel on the cordon. The interface role is more productive. Over there we still need the scraps. Are we supposed to be making improvements to the Briar? It's not here. I guess it's not here. Maybe it's not there yet. Anyway, back to it. Time to steal some more. Boop. I'll keep. Let's go. Let's finish off the water thing first and foremost. Reroll. Ooh, all sixes, huh? That's a real good one. Okay, that will be all the water they need. Ah. Tucked into the service corridor deep below the reservoir, Eshe is double-checking the seals on the water tanks loaded onto the motorized trolley. Though you are far enough away from any thoroughfares, you do not to worry about being overheard. You both still speak in hushed tones. All good? She nods slightly and hit the ignition of the trolley to start it moving. You take the other side of the trolley and walk up to the wide service corridor with its flickering lights and the Solheim detritus. You doubt it gets used by Havenhage, but at least there's... You doubt it gets used by Havenhage, but at least that's the hope. You glance across at Eshe, her face a mask of determination as she guides the trolley along. What comes next? Eshe pauses, a little surprised by your question. She glances back down the tunnel. We keep going, she answers quickly, and turns back to the trolley. But she can tell you are expecting her to add more. She seemed to gather herself for an answer, not wanting to ignore you. Our outpost, Hawthorne, is not an easy place to grow up. The administrators keep a tight hold of everything, even though they are trapped in the same decaying sensation as everyone else. He found it harder than most. I stepped in to help them out. Silas descends again, though you can feel the wheels turning in Ish's mind. I promised Speak I would get them out, no matter what. We've got out. We got as far away from that place as we could, and we're glad of it. So after this, we keep going until we're so far from Hawthorne we can't even remember the way back. Ish stops talking, but she has a dark look in her eyes. You both reach a wide bulkhead through the doorway. You have to stop to shimmy the trolley over to the edge. Good from here, head back. You watch her go and turns around and walk the distance back to the staircase. Tunnel humming around you. As you walk, you try to piece together Eshe's past. All you have are a glimpse of a person she once was. And she seems to prefer it that way. Oh well. Keep negotiating access. Got a bit of free energy. Nice. We're halfway to the scrap we need for the doohickeys. So I'm just coming back in a couple cycles. We should be able to negotiate the access tomorrow. Oh, gotta heal. I won't waste some of my precious scrap healing myself. Okay. We still have some big dices, so we should still be fine. Come on. This one should be fine. Done. You and Ishi roll up your sleeve and you help with tank cycling. As you do, you speak to the farmers about the refugees. Oh. I gotta harvest stuff. Algae growth, accelerate growth. The algae takes time to grow, and each cycles, more can be deposited from the stack. Patience is required. Harvest gel. There's no more algae in the stack for this cycle. You have to wait for more to grow. So we gotta help with the growth. But what about the plan for breaking through? Can we get any more engineer checks? Scrap for the flotilla. Intercept comms, interface, engage. We need intel first and foremost. I can do that. Hey, some free cryo. Nice. We can finish the intel tomorrow. I could speed up the growth. We'll see. How long for the big ship to leave? 1, 2, 3, 4 more cycles. Should be fine. Mostly. Let's take a nap. Also, I keep feeding my stray, but not much happens from it. Feed the stray. And move out. Are the salvagers back? Hey, they are. There's some free salvage. Free scrap. Nice. If I can get one ship mined chip, I can make a ton of money. Yay. Money. Free money. 2 more scraps and we're good on the scrap allowance. That's the wrong thing. That's the correct thing. I'll keep this just for the refugees. They might need it. But if I need a lot of cash quickly, I can sell it. This and the mushrooms. I'm hoping that one of the steps for the plan to break to the cordon is going to involve engineering checks. We'll see. There's the intel. Next we got a bunch more stuff. A canteen. Engaging into it. Tug escort. Evan H. Suspicion. The hangar. I can do some engineering for the Briar upgrade. Slice thrusters. The tugs have a... Excuse me. The tugs have a powerful suite of ion thrusters for rapid maneuvering. If you can sneak in and slice them off, you have a good upgrade for the Briar. And here are some sensors. This is a lot. Come on, some free scrap, please. Hey, got it. Some random scrap item. One more. One more. Damn it. That's not good. Not a good roll. Hey, doggo. The dog is here now. Let's spin the rest of these dices over here. I can try and accelerate the growth, I guess. The only cost is maybe losing energy. Bleh. Come on, not. Please, no. Yay. That'll help. Let's go eat a bite. And keep going. This will be really tight, though. This timing we got. I'm worried we won't make it. So we're gonna have soon the fungus, the algae, and the scrap. All we'll need is the cordon thing to pass through, but it seems like it's gonna take at least 2 days per step of the plan, which is not gonna. It seems like it's not possible. Also, these are bad rolls. Oh well. Let's keep it up. I can do the engineering checks. This thing's ready for harvest. Harvest the algae, please. Bleh. Well, too bad. Let's not waste more of our dices here. I gotta eat real quick. The farmers here, they can sell food. Up. Food. Yeah, I really have a bad price. Back to this hangar. Do some engineering, please. Got a bit of suspicion. Keep it up. A bit more suspicion. I haven't got any scrap. Not great. Let me decrease the suspicion. Nice. And call it a day. We should rest here. There's no point going all the way back every single time. We took a bit of damage because of the energy again. Or maybe we didn't. I got a repair though, that's for sure. Okay. Let's go for the engineering roll. Engineering. Boop. We got the upgrade for the Briar. Peak grins as you pile the ion thrusters sets onto the motorized trolley and then direct the loading bay. I borrowed this from Eshe. I barely know how it works. They seem giddy at the idea of stealing the ship parts from Heaven Age. I thought you worked for XPR. I did, but as a repair tech. My specialty was computer systems. I mostly worked on keeping the protocols that ran the refueling platforms were totally decaying due to lack of use. Because people weren't refueling. There's a lot of platforms in orbit of the moon Hawthorne is on, and Cinder itself. Esche and I ended up having to head out to them regularly to work on them. Sounds hard work. Are you kidding? That was the best job at Hawthorne. You get assigned a ship, you get to leave the colony for a bit. You're so much better than outpost maintenance or canteen work. The only reason we got assigned it was that Esche's mother was the administrator of Hawthorne, and Esche managed to get my name on the list too. This is always saving me. Peek looks at the thrusters. Esche will install these. The Briar is her baby really. They're really using that trolley. Truth be told, I was surprised she could bring herself to make it to take it from her mother. Using a ship that has to have hurt the colony. What was her mother like? Tough. You'd have to keep control of a service outpost with no services to provide. It's a tough place overall. And Esche's mom, she likes it that way. They'll manage without the Briar, no choice. And I have to admit, I'd love to have seen her face when she saw the way I'd gone. Don't tell Esche that. They can manage the rest. You've done more than enough for this cycle. Once these are fitted, the Briar will handle better than ever. You might even get a thank you from Esche. See you soon. Okay, I gotta just scavenge a bit of scrap, just a bit. Let me get some of this though, please. Please. Poop, more food. But they lose growth. I see how it is. Up, more food. We're gonna finish this off next cycle. And then let me try and get some scrap from the wastes. I could lose some condition. Meh. Gotta get that scrap. What happens if you get a neutral outcome? Ah, you lose energy. That hurt my condition. Nice. Let me go and buy some food and take a nap. We are burning through our money pretty fast. That's okay. That's the usual. It's because we bought a bunch of scraps from the scrappers. The salvagers. Okay, today we can finish the food and the scrap, and then focus on the escape plan. So gotta get some energy first. Yoink. Okay. Let me take the ferry across. I wonder what's the first, second, and third part. How it's gonna all play out. We're pretty advanced in the cycles. I gotta get a critical success to finish this today. You're leaning up against the metal crates you just loaded up with algae, packed and dried into bright green pucks. Esche ups into one beside you, flexing her aching back. Is this enough? She squints at you as if you just interrupted her train of thought. It's a look you have become familiar with. It doesn't matter either way, this is what we've got. In this past cycle, working with the algae stack with Esche, you've had a little insight into her mind. She already seems happy to start a conversation, but is always eager to end one. Despite this, you feel like something has grown between you. Some kind of silent trust, the kind that tends to seed itself in the fertile soul of hard but necessary work. Why escape this into your mother? She pauses, her protective instinct fighting with the trust you've built. What you need to understand, Sleeper, is that Erlin's Eye wasn't the only place where Solheim collapsed to happen. Sure, Hawthorne, where we grew up, was an XPR installation, but that didn't screen it from Solheim going under. Actually, Solheim was the only reason XPR were ever here. They are a service corps. They set up outposts and surrogate systems like this one to offer refueling, logistics, and maintenance services to bigger companies with extraction contracts, like Solheim. When Solheim went bust, XPR lost their client. And Hawthorne, well, we lost everything. We became an outpost tasked with just holding on. Keep the refueling platforms running, they said. Keep the outpost stable. Hold on to our claim. You know what it was like to spend your entire life in a place with no future? A place that exists only to hold a legal claim to a piece of territory, to shore up a breach of contracts negotiation between two corporations. It's like living in a grave. So if you're looking for the answer to why, to the why question, that's your answer. We, Peak and I, know that what it's like to be forgotten, to be locked out. The silence extends, and you realize that the conversation is over. Eshe seems angry, not at you, but at herself, for even voicing such an ideas. After a while, you stand and start to load the crates onto the powered cargo trolley. But Eshe will run back to the Briar. As you do, you try to catch her eye, but she avoids it, soothing herself instead with physical work. We will... Yeah, we got one better roll. Here's all the scrap they needed. Is that it? You look over the pile of scrap components lying in the Briar. You look around the bay. You look around, the bay is empty. Eshe and Peak either elsewhere on the station or on the bridge of a couple levels up. You begin sorting through the pile, separating out useful components and boxing them in by use. You don't recognize everything you find, but before long you get into the rhythm of sorting. As you do, your mind starts to drift, your attention being drawn into the dark corners of the bay. The Briar is in surprisingly good condition, considering that the Hawthorne and XPR must have been operating it for decades now. The marks of care are everywhere, from the delicate patch jobs polished to meld into the original finish, or the careful bound wiring running through the custom trucking. Eshe loves that shit, that much is clear. Then it catches your eye, in one of the dark corners. A matte black stack of crates you hadn't spotted before. They're sleek and compact, tucked away behind some of the bigger, more worn crate. You put the components away and go over to the sleek crates. You run your hands across the texture and surface, but there's still a little hint of what lies inside. Then you see it, a yellow symbol embossed on the far side of the crate, a universal sigil, used by spacers, corporations, and manufacturers alike. It's one you have seen throughout your life as a sleeper. Explosive content. You hear a hiss and Eshe comes up through the base lock. She barely registers your presence, nothing at you as she smashes. Ask about the crate. She doesn't turn around from whatever she's busy with. Just some supplies, sleeper. Like everything else here. You can't think of anything else to ask, but sense that the atmosphere has now somehow shifted. You finish and go out. Hey, upgrade point. Can't use it on anything, but I'll take it. Anyway, over here now. We're done with this place. Into it. We could lose some money over here, but not advantage suspicion. So we should spend our low dice over there. That suspicion is getting mighty high. Also, the free money is useful. Get a blind spot in the cordon. Go over here and try to get a suspicion off, please. Okay. That was pretty good. And over here. 50-50. Yeah. Oh, that gives suspicion too. I didn't realize that. Yeah. Not a great cycle. Oh, there's an active scene. Must be the big ship leaving. Let me just go over there real quick. Lem and Mina won't have any chance to leave, but that's fine. This place is pretty good compared to all the others, I say. There's a crowd, but you spot Lem and Mina immediately as you enter the dock. They're anchored like everyone else along the viewing platform, watching the final stage of the side reel horizon loading in preparation. Hey Lem. He turns and searches nervously to the face to see who called. Then he spots you, and a weak smile passes across his face. We decided to come watch in the end. Meanie wouldn't let me stay away. I'm glad. I wasn't sure if I'd see you up here. You three watched the ship for a while, in the same hushed state as most of the crowd. All the anger seems to have faded out of those who didn't make the crew. Perhaps down in the low end in the tambour is full of angry workers, drunkenly denouncing sailies, but up here the atmosphere is reflective, like a funeral in a ritual. You seem to have a lot on your mind. Want to tell me what's bothering you? I'm worried about you. Us? Don't worry about us. If you think this is the worst we've been through, you're wrong. Lem puts Mina down beside him. She kicks off, glides to the viewing window, and presses her nose against it. You know, there's been plenty of cycles where I thought Mina would be better off without me. Who am I to decide her life for her? But when I see her smiling, I see her dealing with things she making fun out of nothing. Reminds me of that she's the one dragging me through. This is her world now, and I'm who I am to decide it isn't good enough for her. You ever heard of the three body problem? Isn't that... I've heard of it, but I don't remember it right now. It's a physics thing. Oh yeah, the idea is that once you have three bodies moving in space affecting each other, the result cannot be predicted. It's chaos. That's how I see us, me, Mina, and you. We're all bodies in space, and we can't see how that's going to work out for us. But the important thing is we're affecting each other, right? It's not just one of us calling the shots, making the decisions, shaping the others. One is equal, pushes and pulls, and pushes and is pushed and pulled in turn. And maybe there are other bodies too, right? The Eye, Esther a few units down, other kids, other systems. The whole Alliance solar systems itself. Some of these bodies have bigger forces, bigger effects, but none of them, not one, can totally dictate the movement of the others. The whole thing keeps spinning and going, and in the middle of it is us three, and everything we do has an effect, a real effect in the system on each other. And if we move out together, we push together, maybe the effect can grow, maybe chaos can help us. He stops suddenly noticing how rapid his speech has become. Well, that's it. Lem nods and turns back to watch Mina as the docking clamps release the side wheel horizon. A tremor goes through the watching crowd, but no one speaks. Mina, suddenly scared, kicks off from the window and glides back into your arms. She settles there, the lack of gravity meaning you can't feel her weight, only the grip of her small hands on your clothes. Then the side wheel horizon leaves, the spectacle of a vast machine doing the job it was built to do, hypnotizing half the crowd into stunned silence. But despite the scale of the endeavor and your part in it, you can't feel the proud or even impressed. What you see instead as Mina clings onto you for comfort is that the same system Lem just described to you. And the side wheel and the Sis Foundation are as vast as the sun, around which millions of other bodies orbit. Their scale is terrifying, and the breadth of influence impossible to conceive. Yet here in the small nested system of Lem and Mina and you, the Eye, with its orbit, and the people that are linked to it, those vast forces can be countered. They shift you and the people around you, but they do not negate the pull of friendship, the orbits of a community. As the side wheel moves away from the dock, you think of the bodies on it, the thousands of cryosleepers. That the person you once were have given themselves over to this system. Imagine each of them has their reasons, their dreams, their fears, but you worry for them. You worry that they have shackled themselves to something so much bigger than themselves that they would crush them without a thought. The thought brings you closer to Mina, and as you do, Lem puts an arm around you both, and you stand together like that for a while. The bright spots of the side wheel horizon drives have faded into the dark, and it's time to go home. Oh. Not over yet. We still got more to do. I'm still worried about making it through the cordon. Dryfeld, a strange choice. Kester stands beside you. Perhaps not unexpected. You aren't angry? About what? I only wish for you to exercise the strong drive of yours. If it happens to align with my own, then that is pleasing to me, but if it does not, I cannot punish you. What about Ceres? Indeed, that is a matter which worries me. Senator Celis has taken a step back from the public eye. It seems some internal struggles are playing out within their pristine hall, but I doubt corporate attacks are of much concern to you. The eye, though, that seems to be your primary concern, am I right? I have unfinished business. Don't we all? It is the nature of life to leave things unfinished. I have more projects that I can count, so many games still to play and things to learn. May your future cycles be as fruitful as my own. I'll be keeping an eye on you if you don't mind, Sleeper. My curiosity remains piqued. And he leaves. Alright. Let's go out of here. That was spoopy. Take a nap. Got work to do. A lot of it. Feed that stray. Well, a couple of good dices, but it won't really be good for advancing the plan. How much time do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4 cycles. It should be doable. It should be doable. One more. Come on, neutral outcome. Come on, neutral outcome. Hey, we did it. We did it. Can't risk a neutral outcome. The suspicion will fill up if I do. Alright. We got some energy. Nice. Okay. That was good progress today. Let's go home and eat. Use some medicines. We still have plenty of medicines. That shouldn't be an issue. Oh. Rapid burst of movement catches your attention. A drone and its fins adjusting as it hovers in place close in the corridor. Hello? The drone shifts a little but does not respond. Sleeper, come to the corridor. We need to speak. Who? Sleeper, come to the corridor. We need to speak. Inspect the drone. Move closer and the drone bops. You see the Ha of Avenhage emblazoned on the side. Could it be Fang's drone? Satisfied that it has delivered this message, the drone rotates and accelerates rapidly as it arrives. You stare at it as it disappears from sight, hoping for some insights that can escape you. The cordon, then. As you enter the passage that leads through the cordon, a flash of movement catches your eye. The drone. It stops to make sure you've seen it, and then flits into the air, leading us to a set of narrow stairs. You climb through a dark shaft, the drone stopping at each landing to check you are following. Despite the lack of expression, there's something overbearing about the way the drone waits, impatiently realigning its fins in sequence. After a long climb, you come out on an observation platform. The cordon is vast. The cordon and the vast, ramshackle refugee ships beyond fill your vision. The scale seems impossible. Immediately, you feel small and naive for even thinking you could affect the situation. Something shifts nearby. The drone again? Helene. Frustrated Avenage counselor. The dog wants out. Maybe not. A woman standing at the window at the edge of your vision. You aren't surprised you didn't notice her. She seems too impossibly small in the shadow of the flotilla. The drone buzzes by her shoulder and she turns. Sleeper, sorry for all the cloak and dagger, but I have never regretted being cautious. I'm Helene. Shake her hand. The tight smile holds, but the drone keeps its single eye fixed on you. The effect's a little unnerving. Look, she glances around. Let's be straight with each other. I know about your plans, and I understand your motive. You look at her in overalls, the yellow markers of the HA sigil. Been on the eye long enough to recognize a Havenhage member when you see them. Stay silent. She glances around nervously again. This entire situation, I'm not there to defend it. No one is happy about this. Sleeper, tell me something. What does Havenhage mean to you? A fresh start. Surprising, Sleeper, but not unwelcome. Havenhage is used to being criticized. In some ways we invite it. Our members are free to bring up grievances at any meetings. As a counselor, it's my duty to listen to them. This is why I was elected by the members. We're a perfect system, and each members are blah 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 blah. But we keep this place running. This is what we do. The flotilla? The flotilla is a problem. Can the Eye take in thousands of refugees safely? I don't know. This place is a ruin, Sleeper. What do you think the council discussed? The price of Gerol? We make plans to keep the place spinning, to keep life support working, to ensure. Helene's slate chirps, and a grim look passes across her face as she sees the notification. I didn't come here to explain how Havenhage work. I came to talk about your plan to cross the cordon and breach the quarantine and supply the flotilla. Stay silent. I know you think you are helping the flotilla, but you cannot do this. Right now, halfway along the rings, one of a countless series of debates are being held. These debates are to evaluate the potential harm that could be caused by the refugees if the flotilla are to left. These debates are to evaluate the potential harm that could be caused if the refugees are left to enter the station. These debates are at a standstill. Too many in the Havenhage Council think of the flotilla as a threat. At the recent events, a hardline group has emerged, protective, selfish. They seek only to benefit the member. In their mind, the flotilla is a danger to life. If you are caught crossing the cordon and breaching the quarantine, it will only strengthen the hardline counselor's case. Criminals who stole a ship from XPR undermining the security of the station is exactly what they want. Okay. So what? Sleeper, I was still to worry you if you know anything about what you're doing here. And those XPR spacers you're running with, Sleeper. Do you know anything about them? More than I know about you. Let's change that, Sleeper. What do you think the refugee flotilla came here now? Something is happening in the system. Something is pushing people out of the colonies and outposts that have survived since Solheim's collapse. Would you be ready for whatever's coming to protect the Eye? I know the Eyes mean something to you. I know there's a reason you are still here. Help me protect it. Persuade those spacers that this is the wrong move and they'll be caught and the flotilla will be locked down. That Heaven Hage will be delivered into those with the worst instinct. Forget the suicidal supply run with people you barely know. Help me fight for the Eye. Stay silent. Don't offer up the excuse that hardliners need to lock the flotilla out altogether to persuade the members they are the safest pair of hands. Please. Look back at her at the flotilla behind and sense a desperation in her plea. The notification breaks through the silence. Shit, Sleeper, I need to go. Think about this, please. Talk to the spacers. Help them see reason. You stay for a moment, be watching the lights of the tugs and the flotilla, and wonder what it feels like to be one of those ships. And then you think of the Heaven Hage Council chamber across the Eye, where the rights of these people to find safety is being debated. You shiver, then you two are gone. You shiver, then you two are gone, back into the stairwell in the cold dark below. Well, if I give the supplies to the spacers and they get locked out forever, there's a win-win, right? I can't really talk this out, can I? Oh well. Let's finish this one. Put a blind spot in the cordon. I don't really like how Esche and Pika are running this operation. They don't have a much of a long-term plan. Doing one supply run won't be enough, they'll have to do multiple. And this is taking a while. Pika is waiting for you when you step out of the operation center, nervously poking at their small slate. Sleeper, I followed what you were doing on the network. Incredible. How did you do that? It comes naturally. I can't tell if that's modesty or just the truth. Interfacing skills like that, it's almost worth being. I didn't mean. I don't. It's not like I don't. It's not like I don't want to be. Well, I guess I. Do I not want to be a sleeper? When we were about to be uploaded to the cloud, it seemed like being a sleeper was the right choice all along. That's fine. You and Peak quietly slip into the main walkway and work your way back to the public areas of the cordon. Heaven Hage has had to quickly respond to the flotilla's arrival. It means lots of contractors and spacers walking through the corridors. You blend easily enough. I haven't really met a sleeper before. This, as you might have guessed, Hawthorne is an XPR service outpost, and since the collapse, no one came for refueling or repairs anymore. So my generation has never met anyone outside the company. We heard about sleepers. The data packets that come through from XPR once in a while. They usually contain news along with the corporate propaganda, but the reports were light on the detail. SNR have kept the sleeper program pretty quiet anyways. I think the XPR are only interested in telling their employees about it because it made living in a company town look like a good life in comparison to being a piece of corporate property. Sorry, I don't mean. I'm not sure how to talk about this stuff. You go relax and go along with the flow of people. As I wanted to say, I think I understand. I understand the need to escape, to get free of all of it. The structure, the system, the company. They look away. The slow death it brings. That's it. I get why you sign up to be a sleeper and why you escape from that too. But I don't think we know why we sign up for being a sleeper. She's just thinking about what she would want to do. You walk in the silence again, each of you in their own thoughts, but moving together through the space nonetheless. After a while, you come to the entrance of the cordon where a handful of workers and crews filter in and out. Okay, I'm heading back to the Briar. Once again, incredible work on the sensors. That could give us a real advantage. See you soon. Now, well. There's suspicions coming in. Bit more suspicion coming in. Time to clear it away. There it goes. And we got some free energy too. Nice. Tomorrow we can finish this. It was a real tight timing. Oh, another message. Sleeper, Pika is waiting for you. When you leave, but they look different, pale, drawn out. You need to come by the Briar right now. Not what happened, not here, come to the ship. We'll be waiting. Don't take too long. With that, they disappear around the corner, leaving you anxious and confused. As you walk through the climbing briars, the cavern is bay now filled with crates and containers. Eshe is waiting for you. In front of her sliced open with its inside scattered across the top of the heavy-duty crates, you recognize the Eden's drone. Come in, quick. You have to start being careful. You move close to the container, your eyes on the drone splayed out into pieces. Some parts of it hooked up to the slate that Peaks picks up. We caught this buzzing around nearby, waiting for the ship. It's a Heaven H spy. We can think we got it before it sent data back, but we can't be sure. Have you noticed anyone watching you? Any drones? Not following you up at the Briar? I've seen the drone. Following you? I met its owner. Explain, Sleeper. Nah, I can tell them about it. You explain that you met with Helene at the coordinate. You tell Eshe and Peak about what she told you. The Heaven H Council are debating lifting the quarantine, but they are blocked by the hardliners. You speak faster and faster, but before you can finish, Eshe walks away in anger, then comes back again, her eyes burning. What is this, Sleeper? Have you understood nothing from what we've told you? Heaven H are not your friend. They're administrators, which means they're interested only in their cause, in their own power, their own survival, their own causes. I mean, their own survival is not that much of a bad idea. They divide people as easily as sorting livestock. The greater good for the work demands it. The wider project the station in the colony, the nation. Look, if the refugees come in and they don't have the life support, they're all gonna die, right? It's gonna be much worse than if they didn't come in the first place. She wants to help. Help what, Sleeper? Undo the mess of her own creation? So you'll do what is acceptable, not what is right. She's trying. Let me tell you something, Sleeper. When people become administrators, they give up something. Some part of being human, being of unequal among others, goes away. It's not talking about the greater good, the system, the way in which their hands are tied or the process compromised. Well, you don't have enough air, man. There's not enough water, not enough air. What do you want me from them? What do you want from them? My mother was the administrator of the Hawthorne, and I have seen what it did to her. That noble higher calling, it is toxic. People should have never had the chance to decide the fate of others, and those that do so at the extra cost of their humanity. Well, you're doing the same thing right now with that supply run, you know? Peak tries to cut in, but Eshe holds up a hand. Don't start, Peak. Don't ask me to be reasonable or calm down. Thousands of people are desperate out there. Being reasonable will only prolong their suffering. Well, being unreasonable will kill them. Aline can help. I'm done with this. You're risking the entire supply run just by being here. I go next cycle. We don't need you anymore. Get out. Sleeper, you have to understand this is personal for Eshe. It's not gonna happen. Warn you of what? Getting caught will be bad. You don't think we know that? You glance around the Bay of Briar. The wall seeming closer every second. This whole thing is closing in on you, and the question is, where do you want to be when it all collapses? What do you think, Sleeper? Should we do this thing or not? No, you don't have enough. You don't have a. This is a shit. You don't have a long-term idea of what's gonna happen. I was wondering you would say that. To be honest with you, Sleeper, I'm not sure how we got here. I mean, I know what we did, but it's like the universe shifted under us. One moment we were skipping Hawthorne, and then now we're here. I have no idea what's coming. Do you see her? She looks at Eshe. She knows how we got here, and she's driving this thing forward. And she saved my life. Yeah, well, she's gonna kill us all. Okay, stop it. If your answer is no, I'm going to need you to stand back and get out of your way, because wherever she goes, that's where I follow. That's a bad idea. You can't ask me to do that, Sleeper. You can't. Well, I'm out. Then you're free to go. They slip away to Eshe, leaving you alone to replay the conversation in your head. And this feels good, but after everything Eileen told you, they cannot do this. Leave the Briar perhaps for the final time. Unsure of what comes next. Can I still finish? No. Well, let's go back to my regular life and see what happens. Seems to me like they're gonna do the illegal run anyway, but fail. Because I'm not gonna be around to help. Oh well, what can help with the salvagers? It's always good work. I can also check my mushrooms. Make more stabilizer. Come on, rare mushroom. Yay. Oh, no, it was random mushrooms, not rare mushrooms. Hey, random rare mushrooms. Yay. Almost done here. I can sell some of these mushrooms. Make a quick buck. A big buck, actually. A lot of monies. Anyway, time to rest. Crossover, please. Okay, we have the mushroom stuff. This will grow. I can also make some more stabilizer for later usage. There we go. I can work with the salvagers for a bit. Get some extra energy. Let's reroll the dices. Oh yeah. That was a good one. Do you have merchants here yet? No. The salvagers just left. Dang it. Okay, in that case. Can I work at a delivery place? Get a bit of energy if I do that. Caster's stable. For data fencing. We can work it here. Up. Good injure, please. Nice. And then for money purposes, I can work at the bar. Nice. Monies. I've got some energy too. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Let's use a stabilizer. There we go. We do have a finite number of stabilizers now, so we should be careful not to waste them. Or the mushroom harvests. You smile the moment you see the drone. Of course Eleni has more than one. But this one is different, or at least its behavior. It flits anxiously. It whines and squeals and then zips off. Goes the flotilla, not checking if you are following or not. Something happened. Time to go. They went anyway. They did a stupid. I'm gonna guess that they did a stupid. Maybe just harvest a bit of salvage real quick. Yoink. Alright. Just gonna do some repairs today. Make the stabilizer last longer. You arrive, frantic and anxious at the cordon. The drone is nowhere to be seen. Then you hear it chirping and whirring through the stairways that led you through. The one that leads up to the observation deck. You lead the stairs two at a time, and make it to the top of the mountain, blinded by the light pouring in through the wide windows. Raised voices echo in your ears as you squint against the light. Peek and Eileen come from the focus, arguing in front of the viewing window. Stop wasting my time. We need to stop her now. Eileen looks harried and tired as she pleads with Peek. The moment she is caught, it is too late. The Hardline counselors will get her excused and to lock the place down. Not that concerned. I won't give her up, no matter what you say. Sleeper. Go to Eileen. She's going for it, Sleeper. The ship is gone. And they won't tell me anything. I found them up here watching. This is bad, Sleeper. When they get caught, the Hardliners will not miss the opportunity to consolidate their power. This childish crusade will only bring more harm. If that is true, it's only because your own council is corrupt and decrepit institution. You should deal with your own organization before casting blame on us. That's what I've been trying to do. I do not have absolute power. I cannot change the entire system, but you and your friends would have it to do, would hand it to the worst people possible. To your stubborn ignorance. Lean is right. The impact of this cannot be ignored, otherwise we risk pushing Heaven Age towards its worst actors. In order to make a single supply run, we must consider the bigger picture. You should explain this to Piggy that it isn't about Eshe being right or wrong, it's about the bigger picture that could shift because of her actions. She listens but looks exhausted. They turn to look to Eileen. There's nothing I can do. Maybe you're right, I don't know anymore, and I don't care. I'll never be like you, I never wish to hold power in my hand, for any purpose. What about the supply run, which is power right now that you're holding, right now? Perhaps that makes me a coward, but I know that already. I ran. I ran from my family and the people that needed me. I stole from them, and I would do it again. I would not look back. That's power too. And I will not look back. And I will not be made to. And I will not be made to feel guilty for these choices. Well, that's stupid. Maybe you should feel guilty because you're doing bad things to hurt people. Eileen looks up between the two of you. So be it. Sleeper, you better hope your friends were well prepared. Then she leaves, already flicking through the data set on her sights as she does. You and Peak exchange a glance. I know what you're thinking, you're being balanced, Sleeper, but I can't be like you. I follow my heart. Okay, but maybe your heart needs a bit more, like, thought behind it. They turned back to the windows, searching the flotilla for a glimpse of the Climbing Briar's blue XPR delivery. As you search, you realize that it doesn't matter now whether you approve of it or not. She's out there risking everything she has. Peak is next to you, heart in her mouth. These are the people you care about. I don't. It's too late to stop this now, but it isn't too late for your friends. There she is. Peak shouts suddenly, and you turn to the window to watch Eshe's run unfold. You spot the Climbing Briar, a glint of blue and white, tiny and alone, arcing down towards the red light of the corridor. She's exposed. They will see her coming, if they look. You watch the cordon and the buzzing tugs for any sign of movement. The Briar crawls in silently across your view. Come in, Eshe. Peak sees it too. Those two tugs are heading to cut her off. Go, Eshe. As if responding to Peak's urging, the Briar speeds up, driving to the cordon's edge now. Like a hawk descending. Peak grips the trail as the Briar races towards the edge of the cordon, that visible net of sensors splayed between ships and drones. Let's hope the blind spot triggered. You think back to the mess of systems you had to wade through to set it up, the delicate contingencies you set up to trigger, the sensor blackout just at the right moment. The Briar slides through the cordon as if it was nothing, rapidly slipping into the mess of ships into the flotilla. You look back at the pursuing thugs and see them slow, confused by the cordon's acceptance of the Briar, and starting to try the target. Eshe's in. How did she do it? She's good. Certainly is, if a little stubborn. You feel a little shaky from the tension, but Peak's ease helps you settle in. You imagine Eshe, still-eyed in the pilot seat of the Briar, searching for a place to dock, maybe being stubborn as an advantage. What now? Now she finds a place to dock and unload as quickly as possible. Then she gets the hell out of there. You and Peak turn back to the window, looking for the Briar again amongst all the holes. You spot the Briar's first time docking with the largest of the flotilla ship, a vast converter tanker, half of its protective plates removed. You think about the effort it must have taken to get this thing all the way here from the inner system. You watch the Briar, unable to get any sense of progress from its placid exterior. They'll be offloading everything now. You think of all the supplies loaded into the Briar and how long the process of unloading might take. The bay was packed, rammed with everything you could offer, and the thought of bringing all that to the flotilla makes you smile. You think of the reaction of the refugees, of the welcome they'll give Eshe as the bearer of such gifts. You even imagine a smile from Eshe as she's showered with thanks. You imagine a smile, huh? Because it's not gonna happen, is it? Maybe. You focus on that as you watch the Briar and continue to nervous wait for the finished unloading. It's breaking off. Peak points at the Briar, and you see it and you see the puff of air and dust that accompanies an emergency depressurization. These are ending early. The tugs are closing in on the Briar. Heaven Age must have spotted the ship. The Briar struggles to navigate into the crowding flotilla, and the tugs seem to be closing on her. Both you and Peak are silent. She cuts through the crowded flotilla, then suddenly disappears. Did the ship hit something? Was it disabled? Where are you, Eshe? Goes to the flotilla, but you never see it. They call her. She delivered the supplies, but they call her. No, that's stupid. This was stupid, Sleeper. Her stupid plan. We had a ship and our freedom. Not what do we have? I won't be trapped again. I won't. They turn and rush out to the observation deck before you can say anything. Wop. That was the stupids. It'll take 2 cycles to get through. Alright. Let me harvest some scraps so I can survive a bit longer. Waiting for the salvagers to come back. There we go. Now we have some ones. Can I use these to hack for the agents? To give me some stuff? Some data I can sell to... What's his face? There we have a 1. Give me that stuff. Yoink, 2 data. Since we have a super perk for that. Here's another one. Do we have another Yatagan agent? I can extract from Evanhage agent? Nope. Oh well. It wasn't meant to be. Time to rest. Let's repair. Feed the stray. And go work at the bar. Get some money up. There's a chance we get some free energy doing this. And I'll take free energy. Maybe not. I can go and photosynthesize instead. That's fine too. Photosynthesis. Boop. Okay, and take a nap. We should be able to get to the next part of the DLC, I think. Has it not been 2 cycles? Question mark? Oh, there it is. I'm sorry, Sleeper, but your friend must have known that there was a chance this would happen. She seems unsure on how to greet you. She's being held along with her ship. What now? I don't know, Sleeper. I don't know. Corden Security has your friend, and she and her ship will be held in the quarantine until it is lifted. As for the quarantine, we're working on it, but the council is unlikely to budge now. Not after this. This is the last thing we needed. She managed to smuggle some supplies, but we couldn't trace them. The refugees already hidden them by the time they arrived. You're supposed to why would you take back the supplies? And the refugees? The flotilla got the supplies. Your friend has to be commended for that. Even if her stunt has only worsened the crisis, the reports we are getting from the refugees that things are stable there. They seem to be well organized. So well organized in fact that they have stopped speaking to us. I'm worried, Sleeper, about what is happening in there. After recent events, Corden Security are keeping the place locked down tighter than ever. No one can get in. Meanwhile, the hardened counselors are preaching in the chamber as we speak. It's a deadlock. And I don't know when it will loosen. I wish I had better news, Sleeper, but we knew this was coming. What can be done? It's a waiting game now. I'll do my best to make my voice heard in the debate to persuade members. And we'll see what can be done. We still don't know what the flotilla came here, why they abandoned the settlements and outposts or the system to flee to this ruined station. What little we heard from them concerned computer and life support systems collapsing in waves, machinery in flux. This isn't over. Think of the people of the flotilla. Eileen is right. People don't abandon their home for nothing. What wave is rushing through the system and when will it reach the eye? I have to go. The debate will start soon. And I should be there. The silence keeps you both quiet as she walks off. You hope that speaking to her might ease the knots of worry in your chest, but it remains there. What's done is done. You get a feeling that you'll be needed soon, and that you must save your strength. What was it Fang told you Erlen said the eye opens for us all? Not this time. For now the eye remains closed to those that need it. It surely runs through you. Something is coming that you can feel it. It isn't over. That's 3 cycles. Alright. We can wait it out. Let me get a bit more scrap. Since we're here. We'll be able to harvest some mushrooms and make more stabilizer soon-ish. In the meanwhile, we should also have some salvagers coming back soon. What about merchants? Are they here yet? Nope. Bar shifts. More monies. Okay. There it is. Let's take a nap. And repair. Just a bit. Too bad I can't work as an engineer anywhere. That'll be really good. Oh well. I guess now we can work with the salvagers. Yay. Hey, Salvies. Give me money. Give me scrap, please. All that you have. Oh, and also we have our mushrooms to attend to. Let's get some of that free energy. Yoink. Got a bunch of scraps. Nice. Let me get my mushrooms. Need some of the higher rolls. That's good, that's good. That should cover another bit of stabilizer. If we're lucky, at least. Not that lucky, it seems. Oh well. I can do a bit of photosynthesis, I guess. Rest. Gotta cycle the mushrooms. Also feed this tray. Mushroom time. Oh wait, we need the spores first. There they are, the spores. We can take our time. Use a bit more. Dang it. Lots of energy. A lot of energy. A lot of energy, actually. Well, we have the spores now. A bit too much, actually. A good day, a good dice we just got. I can spend it at the salvagers. That'd be good. Anyway, more mushrooms coming in. Oh, we only have a +1? Never mind. Let's spend this at the bar. And use the pay to eat. Boop. Eat up. Good mushrooms, please. Thanks. Oh, the eye. It hits you like a wave, a white-edged breaker, roaring inland with the force of the entire ocean. The impact of his screaming... The impact is a screaming brightness, blanking out everything. Behind it is silence. You float in silence, suspended. You do not float, you are the silence. It spelled you up, it's emptied you out. You cease to exist. Time passes, though you do not feel it passing. And something flickers in the silence. Then something moves. That's you. You open your eyes to the metal ceiling around of flickering lights. You feel the floor around you, patting it with your hands. You assemble an image of yourself, laying on your back in the corridor. You shake off the silence and sit up. What was that? Look around, looking for signs of change. Damage on the walls, shots in the distance, fire and fear. Nothing has changed. The silence sits around you like fog. You try to think, furrowing your brow. How do you think again? It doesn't seem so easy anymore. You force the pathways to light up, the databanks to grant access. You feel like a faction drive starting up after a long shutdown in a cold vacuum. In the silence. And the silence was negation, a dissociation so absolute that the electrons shed their tethers and considered new paths and orbits. All things were possible, but none could be achieved. It was only a moment. A memory image comes to you, one from the moment before the wave hit. You squint at it. A broken skeletal ring, the eye, and then a vast arc. A razor-white edged curve, the wave. The wave approaches the eye. The eye spins, turning each part of the face to a vast white edge. You recognize the skeletal data cloud form, the bright market, the low end, the greenway, the waist. And the wave hits just as the flotilla, the cordon turns to face it. You open your eye again. That is the epicenter, but of what? So that's not good. Let's go back to the cordon. See what happened. We have some moderately good dices today. Peek. Even before you reach the cordon, the damage is obvious. The blinking red lights, the drones, the tugs are all gone. Half the cordon's frame has also been shorn away, perhaps through the impact of some failing ship. People push past you into the corridor, both Avanage staff and contractor clearing the cordon. Push forward. You push through the flow of people, and despite a few suspicious looks, they offer no resistance. The further you pass through the corridor, the less people you see. You can see a few sections who have been closed off, their bulkhead doors sealed and red warning lights punctuating the corridor. But most areas seem functional. You suddenly feel a hand on your shoulder. Avanage security? You should have known better to wander into this place. Sleeper, the cordon, it's gone now. The Baron and Eshe are still in there. Do you think that she did this? Or perhaps Avanage messed up? We should find her. What if... It wasn't her or Avanage. It was a wave. What do you mean? A signal that only affects electrical systems, perhaps? An EMP would have taken out most of the station, but... I don't know what you're saying, Sleeper. It doesn't sound... Look, I have to find Eshe. I'm sure you felt something, but we can talk about that later. I can't sit around and talking any longer. Find me on the flotilla. I'm gonna find a way to Eshe no matter what. They rush. Seems like you need to follow if you want to get any answers. Scrap for passage. Oh, well. I can just go ahead and get that right now. Give me some scraps, please. Thank you very much. Here you are. Find a small shuttle that's scavenging supplies with a cordon to take back to the flotilla. They'll take you if you bring some scrap along. The flotilla. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ships? 11? Oh boy. Flotilla's friend. Shifting ship systems and social structures. The only way to navigate the flotilla is by rolling up your sleeves and helping out. Damage control, all supplies. This seems less risky. Hey, free money. You work on the life support of the biggest tanker, expanding the capacity and opening up more bays and bulkheads to move refugees into. Maybe if the Eye salvaged the ships for life support, they could be able to get the refugees in here. At least some of it. Hey, positive outcome. You put the tanker's proximity control, keeping it from drifting to the other ships. The occupants are impressed and you won't stop thanking you. Web hit systems more than anything, especially those on ships that are thousands and you fail. Okay. You don't have a time limit here. We can take our time. Let me go back. At the commune, can I work for some energy? Yes. I got some food. Let's stick nearby the corridor. We'll have to expend resources to make it through, I guess. As usual. Boop. Flotilla's friend. Keep it up. Nah, lost energy. Oh, that hurt. That was pretty bad. Yeah. One more good positive outcome, please. Ah. That hurt again. I'll have to repair today. That's not good. Peak and Soul, a captain. As you walk into the Bay of the Climbing Briar, the familiarity of the space overcomes any interpretation. It feels good to be back, and the return feels earned, especially after all the work it took to figure out a route through the flotilla's jumble of ships that lead you to this blue streak. You see Eshe and Peak immediately, sitting at the back of the bay, deep in conversation. The closeness causes you to stop. Peak is explaining something forcefully as Eshe stares out in the middle distance. Sleeper didn't quite turn out as we hoped, right? The plane was always risky. For me more than you. Maybe if you spent less time trying to question it, things would have gone better. It has worked out. The Flux event knocked the entire coordinate system offline. The flotilla is free and the heavy engines are backing off. The Flux event? That's what the refugees are calling it. Apparently that's what they called it when it started happening around Ember. Doesn't that mean they're gonna want to flee from the Eye too? What is happening? Hard to tell. It's some kind of disruptive wave that only affects the electrical system. Typically systems are screened against radiation and interference, but this seems to be dulled but not stopped by those defenses. The crisis continues. The coordinate may be down, but this brings a whole other set of problems. You should tell them, Eshe. Please. She doesn't respond. Please, Eshe, haven't they shown they can be trusted? No. Eshe turns her arms folded tightly across her chest. She goes to stare and then she stops. You see the anger in her eyes, but you realize it's not a blah, 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 blah. She's angry with herself. I brought weapons to the flotilla, and now they're gone. Amazing. Suddenly you remember the sleek crates that were tucked into the bay. The ones Eshe told you were just supplies. That's stupid. I was thinking about the coordinate it was going to be lifted. The refugees would need to something to change that. You're gonna start a war with the Eye so the refugees can invade the place? Would you rather just they stayed here, they just stayed quiet and died like good? What if you gave them fuel so they can move on? She knows this was a bad move, Sleeper, I promise you. She's just too proud to admit it. She's not a good person. Get me out of here. Where'd you get them from? XPR. I wasn't about to leave the colony armed when we escaped. I wouldn't trust them to not use them on us. I didn't know a thing about them, which is why Eshe is going to be the one to find them and bring them back. Should we help? It's okay, Sleeper. I don't want anyone getting mixed up in this. This is my responsibility. Plus, you and I have to work to do. I want to understand the flux. Study it. This thing is changing the entire system, causing problems across the inner system, driving refugees off Ember's moons. Now it's here. If we don't do something about it, Peak is going to be a problem for all of us. I can see more immediate problems. I've been looking at the networks, and when the flux system hits, it changed things. It shuffled systems, corrupted nodes, broke open data stores. They take out a slate and show you a flickering polygon. Some of these flux nodes have appeared near the epicenter of the event, but I can't get access. You, however, I say the way you worked with the data when we were prepared for the run. I think you can get into these things. Okay, so we gotta do some hacking. When you find a flux node and bring me anything you can extract, then come and go, but most of it... Blah, 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 blah. Perhaps together we can find something. We'll try. Don't waste too much time with chasing Ghost Sleeper. There are people on this flotilla that need help, that need any help they can get. I'm sure Sleeper can do both, Eshe. I'll see you here when you have something. Good hunting. What about the captain? Someone told me I should be thanking you. The voice comes from behind you, cutting through the chaos of the crowded cavernous bay. You freeze. Don't be afraid now. I've been hunting you, sure, but all for the best reasons. You can see bright eyes that are set in a rough face, framed in rusted metal. Ew, Soul. Pragmatic refugee leader. Soul. He holds out a hand, the other clamped in firmly around a knotted wood cane. Alright, shake his hand. Forgive me, as soon as I saw you, I knew who you were. I've been told the Sleeper was part of the supply run that came in several cycles ago. A very welcome act, and we all thank you for it. Walk with me, Sleeper. He sets off through a bay, his partial suit hissing and creaking as he helps carry him through the busy crowds. You make past a makeshift kitchen, steaming pots of heating elements. That algae that came through isn't exactly a full meal, but with what we have here, we'll be able to make it work. The color is something, isn't it? So it leads you out to a larger bay, into a corridor lined with storage rooms that are now serving as dorms. You see someone fighting a metal container from a standpipe. Just a little further now. It jerks into life, and as you pass through the layers of the ship, you see people on every level, supplies crammed into every available space, and sparks leaping in bursts as the ship is reshaped and modified to sustain population. If Evan Hage were expecting an exodus from the flotilla, the Flux event has put a stop to that. It's not a cross to the eye, but many just gather salvage or score a hot meal. The pressure on our supplies is shrinking, but not like I had hoped. With the Flux reaching all the way out here, people are starting to understand that our journey might not be over. Suddenly the freight elevator screeches to a halt, and Sol leads you out into a wide room of chairs and terminals, ringed by a mezzanine and with a glass roof. Through the distant hub in the far curve of the eye. The people at the terminals nod to him as they enter. Stay silent. Quiet sort, huh? I don't mind. I prefer to settle in with my thoughts too. Though looking after the pilgrim seed and all the souls down it means I rarely get a chance to. So looks around the bridge of the ship. Well, the pain responsibility. I admit that the responsibility is the one that suits me. We don't get to choose these things. He said it twice. But you, Sleeper, from what I understand, you chose to try to help us. Isn't that right? I did my best. But I ask you, Sleeper, why are you here now? Flux event. I appreciate the honesty. I had figured as much. Looking at you now, I can see that an event like that, well, would have had a big impact. I have thousands of people here on the Pilgrim Seed, the Sleeper, and there's thousands more on the Flotilla. A lot of them are looking to me to provide some future to them, some path out of this dead end we've gotten into. And this very cycle, the thing we've been running away from, it just caught up to us. These people are scared in the Sleeper, and they're looking for me for reassurance. The same cycle, someone tells me they see you on board the Sleeper, the same Sleeper they reckon. They wanted so strongly to send a ship to pass the cordon to see us. The first thing I wanted to do was thank you for your interest. The second thing I wanted was to find what you want from us. That's fair, don't you? What is it? What happened around Ember? Apologies. I'll tell you what, Sleeper. Let's see you and me make a deal. You want information, I understand that. But I have a list of needs longer than the rim of the eye itself. So you do some things for me and then we can talk about what's been happening in this system. I'll answer all of your questions and then some. I'm be the captain of the Pilgrim Seed, and she's certainly the biggest ship in the flotilla, but I'm not the only captain here. You have ships from each moon, from Ember's Hearth, but there's others from Ember's Song and even Ember's Step. The moons have been at each other's throats, Sleeper. Or the pressure of the flux, the bad blood from the old days. We aren't all in alignment. But there's a way to stop these escalating, for the crews of these ships and their captain to feel happy and comfortable. Those from Ember Steps, well, they've always been proud, but that pride seems to be a barrier to compromise right now. The last set of supplies I sent their way, they refused. Meanwhile, I have a supply schedule at the docking access the Ember Song ships gather at. But if they can afford too many cycles to unload, maybe if you're headed that way, you can look in on them. I'm no politician, Sleeper, but if I don't... He stops. He leans back and flexes, his suit screeching. He groans. You can see the weight of the flotilla sitting on his shoulder. Look, you'll see for yourself if you go. Meet the other Sleeper, see what they need. Alright. He speaks with the pain, his voice clipped. I hope you are what you appear to be, Sleeper. Because I'm not sure I can take any more bad news. Plus, there's plenty to be done here on this Pilgrim Seed too. If you have a moment to pitch in, there's never enough around here. Alright, I have thousands of things to attend to now, Sleeper, so you have to find your own way out. You get back down on the freighter elevator, and as you do, you see the layers and the layers of chaotic life in the vessel. The Pilgrim Seed. We're gonna help them survive. I can give them food. I got plenty of those. Yeah, we can just give them all. Give all of these. Almost done. But we are out of dice. Oh wait, it is done. Sol finds you deep in the layer of the Pilgrim Seed. Working on a patch of life support. You hear him coming, his suit hissing as he does. I had to ask it around to find you. Seems you know the place better than me these days. I doubt it. It wasn't the work crew that built this thing, so maybe you're right. Stand up and let me see you. I don't believe you ever had a sleeper on Ember's Hearth. You sure do make me wish we had. Could have done them, but done with a few workers as good as you. Thanks. Seems like I owe you some answers. Seeing as you've been working hard on the Pilgrim Seed Peace Spice cycles, what do you want to know about? Ember's Heart. Sure, I mean, I spent my whole life on that rock, so I have plenty to tell. I'll save my life story for another time. But the truth of it is that the Heart is the first of Ember's Moon, the biggest and the most populated, which is down to the successful terraforming of system of Sibylle set up back when Solheim owned the system. Terraforming? That's right, Ember's Step was the first tribe that failed. Heart was when they perfected the system. However, despite what people might say, Heart was never fully stable. Yeah. So I really like to talk it up, but after they pulled out and Solheim left, our people discovered that they had to keep the systems running themselves or the place would soon end up as dry as the steppe. Heart was good as long as the evaporators kept running, kept filling our skies with clouds. Even after the collapse, our people kept those things going, turning that subsurface ocean into a pearl ring blue sky. The flux ended that though, and when they fell, the rains failed, and the harvest with it. And soon you have a city without a way to feed itself. A city? Just one? One city for an entire moon? That's when we, some of us, made the decision to set out on this place. And look for another future. Anything else? The flux? That's what I imagine. I can't say I'm an expert. But I can know what we witnessed on the hearth. At first we ignored it. A few farms had their automation systems blink out. Lifter suits locked up. Bots reset their schedule. When the news came out of Passer Road that they'd been hit harder, the local network had gone down and no one could get it back up. It was rough for a while. But out in the farmland, we were used to that. Farmland? That's right. Hearth was terraformed, wheat, rice, soybeans. You should see the way the fields looked when the big old Ember was high in the sky. We thought the flux was a freak event until the day they got the network running again. That's when the cascade happened. System after system corrupted. Data lost. And then another flux hit. And another. The bots were running circles in the fields. People had to be cut out of lifter suits, like mine. And the city. I never saw it, but I heard from the others. It only got worse from there. We couldn't seem to fight it. It cut us right open. That's what I know about the flux. Some folks say it came from the inner system, that it might be connected to some old tech or something, but I've never heard anything more than rumors. What about yourself? What do you know about me? I'm not sure that was part of the deal. I was thinking of Sleeper. Unless you're asking about this, he grabs the metal of his suit. In case you haven't guessed, this is the only thing keeping me vertical. It's a lifter suit made for working the fields. I had to modify it so I could walk around after the accident. That's why I'm saying Sleeper, because to be honest with you, I don't owe you more than that. The suit seems to loom over him, looking more like a burden than a support. With the bars around his head, you suddenly start to think of it as a cage. Why are there bars around his head? I mean to be rude, let's leave it there. There's too many eyes on me in this ship as it is. That's good. You sure? I am. Keep it up, Sleeper. You're making me think of I need to start making new plans for this place. And he leaves. Okay, I just spooked the dog. Sorry, doggy. Okay, doggo. Okay, he got spooked. Because my phone charger just fell. Deliver flux data. I gotta go and do some hacking. The Ember Steppe refugees. It's a strange sight given your time spent in the Greenway, to see a greenhouse choked with red dust. Interesting. Mouse, come on, help me. It piles up along the edges, gathers in curving waves, and is carried by some unseen wind to a whirlwind in front of the glass ceiling. It's a desert in miniature, a captured landscape of iron-rich sediment and unseen life. Beautiful, isn't it? The remark comes from another figure standing at the viewing window. So quietly that you hadn't noticed them. Did they just arrive, or were they there before you were there? Their cloth-swaddled form reveals little. Is it beautiful? A miniature desert? Sure. Catch a glimpse of a pale face among the thick material, dark eyes glittering in the red reflected light. Aki. A random refugee? With hockey sticks coming out the back. They turn to you with a dusk swirl. Aki. They smile a tight smile. You are not from the Fatilla, am I right? I live on the Eye. That's not where you're from. Everyone is from somewhere, whether they wish to be or not. Whether it's a good place to be or from or not. What brings you to the wind's long shadow? Soul. She doesn't respond. She looks absent-mindedly at the dust. You're a strange one. I don't know whether to report you or send you back where you came from, which is nowhere at all. You glance around the empty corridor, suddenly aware how quiet it is on the ship. Like the other ships you have been on, there's a silent order on the wind's long shadow. What happened here? That's a broad question, and I'm not in the mood to recount the history of the ship or the step. She lets the silence sit, and you hear the wind and dust scratching at the viewing window. You hear a creak of a set of shutters slowly being closed across the glass ceiling of the greenhouse. As you watch, you feel the distance this place has been. There's nothing green here, a dust house perhaps. It takes many systems to preserve this landscape, to simulate the wind, cycle the dust, layer the sand, and swirl dirt beneath. Systems that are failing. The flux event is eroding our ability to keep this place alive, to keep these traces of Step alive. Which is ironic because when we left Step, the flux eroded our ability to survive on the moon. Now the situation is reversed. What if the moon, its ecosystems are as fragile as we were living upon it? Something catches your eyes. The wind picking away the dunes reveals a web of network of thick branches. It closes completely as you see nothing in the dark. Soft blue light flickers in the corridor, uplighting Aki in cold cyan. You have piqued my curiosity, but I am so tired. If you do not have a purpose on this ship, I recommend finding one. Otherwise, I'm afraid you need to leave. Make yourself useful, and perhaps we'll get another chance to talk. I'd like that. With that, Aki pads away along the corridor. You stand for a moment in front of the dark dust house, trying to imagine a network of roots under the sand. Need to interface. And the last one. Gotta unload some supplies. Let's go take a nap. Actually, I gotta go and get some food first. Get fleeced by the farmers. We took a lot of damage. We should repair today, so we don't lose any dices. This might have been a waste, but that's fine. We don't have a time limit though. Ooh, bad dices. Reroll. That's better. Let's come here and unload. What if we go over here instead? There's an interface skill. The more you unload the supplies, the more attention you gain. Which is good. Nobody wants to help with unloading the supplies. Working alone to unload the supplies is a slow and difficult work. You take a break and notice passersby watching you silently. The loose crowd around the supplies you have unloaded, and a tense mood brewing among them. You sit nearby on the edge of the shuttle's docking tunnel, resting. Further away, crews from the Ember Song continue their lives as usual, coming and going, trading, discussing. There's a quiet efficiency to the hub, set up as a common space for the swarm of small ships from the Ember Song that are part of the flotilla. At the Harter Step, there is no capital ship for this moon's refugees, just a bunch of individuals traveling in concert. We told the Heart we didn't want their scraps. You see a gaunt, pale man wearing industrial work gear. Peter. You hear me? I say nothing. We agreed to join the flotilla for joint protection. We did not agree to Ember's Heart using the flotilla to secure the control of the moons. Because Peter is addressing the crowd as much as he is addressing you. With the cordon down, our crews are more than able to acquire what we need from the Eye, what is owed as restitution for keeping us restrained. What we need, we will take. Meh. Why are you delivering supplies for Hearth? You need to check your alliances, Sleeper. Peter looks around the crowd. Hearth thinks they can buy us, but remember the past. Take the supplies if you wish, of course. We're not wasteful. He approaches me directly. The crowd tentatively moves away, forward, but at the time he reaches you, they're already dragging away the crates. I'm about to shoot the messenger, Sleeper, but we cannot concede to Heart here, not for a moment. Oh, I don't understand. I can see that. What was your plan, Sleeper? Unload the supplies and wait for someone to start throwing them back at you? Because that's about to happen. So I should thank you? My pleasure. What do you think happens to the crew of this shuttle? They will chase out of this place. Why? We do not hate Heart, we simply do not trust them. Do you know anything about the Ember's moons, Sleeper, or were you planning to wander into the flotilla totally blind? An objective outsider offering help. I know a little. A little is the same as nothing. Well, that's no. I'm going to assume you know the basics. The Gas Giant Ember has 7 moons. The 3 biggest are Ember, Ember's Song, and Ember's Heart. We can cover the 3 sisters next session. Step was the first to be settled, a contract. It was terraformed, but it messed up. It's a desert. So they move on to the Hearth. And they did good work. How did Sabbath achieve such a thing, you might wonder? That's where we come in. It's the same old rule of surrogacy, the one humanity built in our universe around. My moon, Ember Song, is a sulfur-soaked rock covered in volcanoes, tidally heated by its inner orbit to swallowing temperature. The kind of crucible you need to fuel a terraforming project. Energy, industry, fuel. That's the dog. Energy, materials for the hearth, willing or not. The crucible requires people to run it. Us singers. Born into a flaming pit and asked to stoke it so others might live in a paradise that's in the making. That's what we had to endure, until Solheim brought everything down. No Solheim, no contract. No contract, no Cybele, and no Cybele meant 3 moons totally independent. It was a war, Sleeper, sometimes hot, sometimes cold. Unsurprisingly, Hearth and Steppe came out better than us. Really? Better than the industrial heartland? Yeah, they need us, Sleeper, always have, and so we are the linchpin. We're the center around which the moons orbit, not swirling ember. Half the people on these ships think the flux was caused by Hearth, intentionally or otherwise, and I have to say some cycles agree. So before you come here to hand out supplies like a good soldier, maybe educate yourself. What does that matter now? You forgive crimes against yourself so easily, Easy Sleeper. Would you return to the bosom of SNARP if they sent someone to collect? Don't presume to judge us. I am judging a lot. I want you to imagine what it's like to try to live on an airless, volcanic rock where every system that sustains you starts shutting down. Pretty bad. We abandoned nothing. Some stayed, others left, but we will claim Ember as soon as the flux fades or ends. We were the worst. Right? Do you now? Perhaps you'll stop running errands for Hearth then. I won't keep you from docking access. No one here has the authority for that, but watch yourself here. Try to remember that the Eye isn't just another. It's just another in a long list of people who have tried to control us. You're stubborn. Stubbornness, I have found, is a quality in these times. We are many, and we're many needs. So help us, please. If you want to help on our own sake, not by unloading Hearth supplies. I hope I didn't just waste my time here, Sleeper. Yeah, pretty much did. Peter chats with a few crews, each of them looking around in directions that reveal little about Singer's instructions. You stand. It seems the tensions of the flotilla run much deeper than you expected. It won't be easy. Time to do a bunch of work. Let's go back and sleep. And also get fleeced for food purposes. More food. Go a bit in advance. End the cycle. The dog wants out. Give me a sec. I'll let them out. Go, dog, go. Ooh. Almost made a wire fall. That could have been really bad. Good thing it didn't happen. Go. Does he want out? Does he want out? No? Okay. Okay, doggy, stay then. Oh, he wants out. Okay, back to us. Hmm. Let me think. I'm gonna have to repair soon. I could scavenge for... or I could check for the salvagers. It's been a few cycles. I could buy some scrap. Make me last a while longer. Hey, speak of the wolf. Oh wait, no, never mind. Nope. Maybe just get a good meal plan. Let's harvest the mushrooms today, since we need them anyway. We can make more stabilizers. Nice dices. Alright. Get me some of that spores. 50-50. Nope. Tomorrow then. We'll have enough. Let's work a bit over there. Up. Okay. Got some free cryo. Here's some more stabilizer. And go to sleep. A quick little cycle. Mostly spent harvesting mushroom. Alright, we're gonna have to repair soon. Ish. But I'm going to try to make this last since we are not on that timer right now. Nice. Enough spores for us to make another batch. Go ahead. Okay. Let's go finish off one of the ship's quests lines. This one, the dust houses. There's a bug in the wind cycling system and managed to fix it. Aki gives you a knowing look. Seems you're proving yourself. See, you've been contributing. Aki stands next to you at the dust house window. I'm not sure what to expect when we join the flotilla on its voyage to the Eye, but after the journey across the system, then the quarantine and the flux reaching all the way out here. Thank you. The other ships have only been interested in sending us supplies, but we grew all we need. What the dust house needs is that the problem is... Bleh, what the dust house needs, that's the problem that concerns us. Shall we go inside? I'd love to. Come. Seems only fair that after your help with the support systems, you get to see what it is you're maintaining. She leads you into an opening it by the window. You notice that through a dark, changing room, you notice Aki is sliding on an oxygen mask and a visor. Shows the swirling dust inside. Inside is just like Amber Step, thin atmosphere, constant dust storms. Nothing that will bother you. It will. She passes you a mask. The dust isn't exactly pleasant to inhale, however, so take this. She leads you to a short decontamination tunnel with its fizzing panels of purifying light. Immediately the wind and the heat hits you. You feel rough waves of dust scattering across your face and peer through the amber murk. Your feet slide on the shifting piles of sand. Welcome to Step, or its emulation of it, at least. The terraforming process only manages to provide the limited atmosphere on the moon, one which slowly escapes. It's been like that since I was born. So I got used to the idea. I did everything else that lives here. What's that under the sand? The coil of rope. This is Step silk, one of the plants which we established on Step. Like any bast fiber, it can be retted and woven to cloth. I'm wearing some made for myself. It is one of the many specimens that entered the steppes since the Solheim collapse, which is why it must be preserved. It is as much of a refugee as we are. The dust houses hold hundreds of other species. Look at the pale, unassuming roots. It looks like these guys are self-sufficient, at least mostly, apart from the small help they need. So the concerns that the counselors have about the life support cycles and whatnot, as long as the ships can be integrated into the eye somehow, it should be fine. Good enough. It'll be easier to speak outside. What happened? Step was already a doomed world. When Solheim gave the terraforming contract to Cybele, they believed they could build an atmosphere, but the erratic orbit made it impossible to maintain. By the time Solheim collapsed, the atmosphere was already fading, and Cybele's attention was on Amber's hearth. After the collapse, Cybele fell too, and his researchers scattered across the moon. The main organization were lost. Since then, my parents' generation worked to survive, to adapt where we had blah, 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 blah. When the flux started collapsing our computer systems, couldn't destroy our life support, our water supply, our agriculture, we had to leave. The details of this step will be on this ship. She begins to cry quietly. You're unsure what to do. Sit beside her. Understand why the ship, why the refugees from Step are so different. Their world was already dying when the flux arrived. Amber Step is a terraform moon. A partial atmosphere, established colonies, agriculture. When the flux event started, its people had to leave. Think of the eye, its delicate web of indicating systems it rests upon. What hope does a ruined station have against a wave that corrupts and corrodes and collapses? Not everyone left. There wasn't room to take all the people. My parents, their friends, and many others. We carried the step for them. Perhaps there's hope. We're not to talk of hope on the dying world. There is a meaning for them, and any future that we can build with the time they have. I wanted you to understand the importance of these dust houses of what they contain. If the flux event continues to reach out to the eye, we need to build protection to ensure their safety. What about the human beings? We're not idiots, Sleeper. We chose to carry this burden. We will survive. These dust houses are already decaying. I have seen it. We had thought it would last longer, but the last flux event. Help us, please. Sure. When we're ready, we'll be beginning the preparation for reinforcing the dust houses. We need to be ready for the next flux event. I'll see you soon. She leaves, watching the ragged, delicate trace of the moon known as the Amber Step. So I need to go do a bunch of stuff here. Alright. Let's keep helping out. Might as well. Ooh, we can do some engineering checks. Nice. This could help elongate our character's needs for stabilizer. I can do the engineering checks. Or the step silk care. Nah, let's go with the step silk care. Yeah. That's a bad one. Okay, maybe I can spend some of these by hacking. Flux node needs a 6 or a 5. Not gonna happen. Where can I spend these dices? I could go and do a bit of sunbathing. Why not? Bit of energy, please. Ooh, yay, energy. Let's keep it up. Now's the time to repair. I decided. Right this moment. Also, we have the dice we need for the hacking. Let me just do that real quick. Oop. Hacking complete. Here it is. Some flux data for a node in the wastes. Saber, come and look at this. She's poring over one of the displays of the makeshift decoding suite they have set up in the Climbing Briar's cargo base. On the screen, a couple of data pathways, like an ingrown root ball starting to untangle. This is an existing node, corrupted by the flux event. It's slowly twisted up. But inside is a whole other data set. The flux event somehow seeds this data deep into around the gap of the node, wrapping them around. So there's 2 sets of data, huh? What's in the second set? Not sure, it's not very cooperative. Flux events itself really did a number of unprotected nodes, like this one. Most of the AI systems are screened against radiation and interference, but these exposed nodes torn apart. Look here, it looks like it's been tangled purposefully, but it's actually all the points within the nodes that have been randomly rearranged. As if the node was a bag of ball bearings, and the flux shook them. The pathways tried to account for the rearrangements once the system came back on, hence the tangle. Although it was less more like a shaking a bag of ball bearings, more like making them all simultaneously occupy a superposition of every possible position in the bag, locking them back into the new configuration. Yeah, usually you just shook him around. Is that any help? No. What's causing them? Where is it coming from? There's something else. Have you spoken with the refugees? A little. Well, they report massive system failures, cascading collapses, total corruptions. The Flux shouldn't do that. It can fundamentally rearrange the structure of systems, especially those poorly shielded. But totally collapsing heavy-duty industrial systems, fail-safes and all that doesn't make any sense. Those kinds of systems are built for deep space, for solar flares and radiations. The Flux might penetrate them, but any reconfiguration should have been irreparable. I need to look into something. I have an idea what maybe causing this wave, triggering the Flux. But can I help? Nope. You have to wait wait some cycles. Meh. Can I help? No. Come over here and do some step silk care. There we go. You and Aki stand side by side at the viewing window in silence. The dust swirls and you... I'm getting too tired for this. I'll have to take a break. The dust swirls and you glimpse the twisted root systems of the self-seek through the ochre eyes. After all these cycles, you feel a strange connection to a world in which you have never set foot. Aki shifts from foot to foot, unsure of what to say. Looks pretty good. They do. But what is the value of all this? Of preserving our world we have left behind? History? But history is dead. It is a dead thing. These plants, these ecosystems, they still live. As long as we keep living, we're more than just history. I'm grateful to you for helping protect the dust houses, for ensuring their slides into decay is delayed, even averted. Well, I'm at an impasse. The stability of the dust houses changes things. Makes me aware of how blinkered we've been. Oh. If the ecosystem of the steppe, its people, cannot grow to meet the future, why preserve it? Are we just slaves to preservation of what comes before? Not slaves, inheritors. But the weight of this inheritance is heavy. We must change. We must change to live. I've seen that in you. The steppe, the people on the ship, they should serve more than a heritage, than history. There are those in the flotilla that need clothes, that need food, that can benefit from the gifts of the steppe's ecosystem. I wanted to invite them. You can do that for me? Of course. I know Sol sent you. You can tell him Aki, the captain of the wind's long shadow, invites all the people of the flotilla to come. I will. You want to know about the Flux now? I wish to protect your home as we could not. I'm afraid I don't have much to tell. It's an exotic wave of some sort. Energy that passes through matter. It shifts the recharged particles which run through our electrical systems. It's possible to shield against it, as we have done with the dust houses, but only while it is weak. The Flux event here was much like the first one we felt on Ember Steppe, localized, destructive, but bearable. But in time, its strength grew. I don't know if it'll be the same here, but it is coming from the center of the system, in a close orbit of a Helion star, H1. That's all we could uncover. I'm sorry I cannot offer more, but you're always welcome on this ship. I hope I'll see you when the others come. I hope this... does it mean that the ships are faster than the wave? I hope this ship, the dust houses, can be more than a museum. I hope they can be a home. The word home resonates. Right? Ooh, I can give them spores. And a mine ship. Sure. Can do. Oops, wrong button. Here's a mine ship. And then they need some supply spores. I can do that too. Won't even be difficult. Rest, please. We've pretty much eaten through our supply cache of a stabilizer. Here's some supplies. Let's go back up north. If I just sacrifice a dice every day, scavenging for scrap metal, we should be fine. It could last much longer. Hey, bigger dice. That worked out. Docking axes. Here's some spores that you needed. Alright. You cross the axis looking for a shuttle to take you back to the ruined Cordon. And you spot Peter standing at the edge of the central hub. Think about the way he's leaning against the rail, looking down across the axis and towards the blinking light. Makes you pause. He's completely still. Approach him. Lean on the railing a little away from Peter. This close you can see the blank stare in his eye. The way his hand hangs deep in front of him. Sleeper, still hanging around? Are you okay? Not really, no. You know, Sleeper, no one asked you to come here. So why don't you just get lost? What's up with you? Who invited you here, Sleeper? Who said you could come here? You think because Heritors decide to name you their errand boy we have to put up with you? We don't want you here. We don't need you. Go home, you stupid machine. Soon after he shouts the final line, he collapses on himself. Sitting upright with all the energy going out of his body. He slumps on the railing. I'm tired, Sleeper. Tired of everything. I'm tired of the empty paternalism of Earth. I'm tired of the paranoid wailing of the crews. I'm tired of the endless cycles that took the same, and feel the same, seem the same. I'm tired of running, of hiding, of fixing every shitty thing that breaks out here. Everyone is tired. I'm going to go, get some sleep. Sure. The traffic of the axis rumbles on as you watch. The same air recycled with all these lungs, the same dust gathering speck by speck on the window. Take a sharp breath, standing straight and big and moving, before the inertia of it all gets to you too. Yo boy. We can do some engineering jobs. Maybe get some random scrap. Hopefully. Nope. We can do some energy though. That we can do. Yay. Let's get fleeced by the farmers. Alright. And come over here and take a nap. First, I sacrifice a dice to the scavenging gods. Next, we gotta go and get a bunch of mushrooms, or else waste the harvest a bit. Rare mushrooms, we have enough to make more stabilizer, that's good. Now we need more mushroom spores again. Blech. Well, there goes my condition a bit more. We can make more stabilizer. Sacrifice a bit more to the food farmers with awful prices. There we go. And finally some repairs. Here we go. End the cycle. Can I get some more mushroom spores tomorrow? I should also check in on the salvage ships. Might have docked recently. Sacrifice a dice here. There we go. Reroll everything. Nice. Get spores, please. That's pretty good. That's not good. Please don't get hurt. Yay. It worked out. Okay, mushroom business over with. Let's go and cross and get some real food. Cross. Real food. For money purposes. Checking with the salvagers. Alright. Hey, there they are. Give me some scraps, please. Nice. I can do a full repair today. And have some leftovers for tomorrow as we work on the ships. I can spend this 5 working on the ships. Nice, nice, nice. All the way get back up here. I can do more engineering jobs in hopes of getting some random scraps. Maybe eventually someday. Up, repair. Up, repair. End the cycle and repair again. Ooh, good dices. I like those. Keep it up. We'll make it through, eventually. Never got any of those random scraps for engineer checks, though. Too bad. Sleeper, Peter calls to you across the Peter calls to you as you cross the axis. He's standing by the same railing. I've been hearing things. Good things? Mostly. You know, on Song I was a teacher. Really? I was also surprised. Mechanical engineering. It's an essential subject on the moon where every single mechanical failure could mean deaths of hundreds. The heat, the atmosphere, the radiation. My students knew this. Their work, their training was respected. So long as they were careful and respected, Song themselves. They could have their choice of colony placements. They were always in demand. That meant I was respected, surrounded by their colleagues and friends. I was able to call in favors and repay them for like. Song colonies were small, close-knit. When the flux event started hitting, colonies went to the dark overnight. We all knew what those kind of failures meant. Not a single one of my students left Song. Our future was cut off just like that. My future. What am I out here? What use am I? Song is a fading memory, and the systems we build are useless outside of its orbit. How am I supposed to move on from here? You don't have to. I can't work any longer, says Sleeper. I can't settle for no future at all. You don't give up, do you, Sleeper? You remind me of a student of mine. One who went through the program from a smaller colony. Had the advantage of some of the others, but they were stubborn. By the end of the program, they were the most skilled. They didn't get the best assignment, maybe because they didn't spend much time making that kind of connection. It didn't matter, because I knew they would have made the best of anything they set themselves to do. Stingers are stubborn, Sleeper. Won't want to change easily. Nor we will forgive easily, but we can cooperate because that's what the story has to say. Today we will resist. If that means resisting Earth's imperialist ambition, so be it. If it means resisting the flux, so be it. If it means to you, as you have help others resist the same pressure, so be it. Tell them to leave us alone. When you arrive at the bridge of the Pilgrim, Seed, Stoll is waiting for you. You wouldn't believe the message I've been coming through the cycle, Sleeper. The ship from Steppe has sent a goodwill gesture, a whole cache of supplies from their own farms. I'm not sure we'll use them, but the gesture is a welcome one. Stall, meanwhile, apparently accepting supplies again, although a little recently, if I may say so. I was wondering, Sleeper, is that what you... Is it what you part are you in all this? I helped what I could. I've come to expect that of you, Sleeper. You look at Soul, his eyes bright and eager. I wonder what he sees in you. I want to show you something. He leads you towards the axis of the ship, towards the engines, the clanking of his suit accompanied by the constant hammering and welding that fills the echoey bulkheads of the Pilgrim Seed at all hours. Within the cordon lifted and shuttles able to go out to salvage scrap and batters for supplies, the ship has become a place of transformation. You look at Soul. What is his plan here? What is he preparing for the Pilgrim Seed for? Or his sharp eyes sipping focus on making it through the next cycle? Suddenly, Soul stops in front of a huge bulkhead, like the seal of the front of the dry dock hangar. The Pilgrim Seed was built as a short-range freight carrier, you know. The amber warning light on the bulkhead's door sent spinning. We built it to ship the entire harvest from thousands of farms to the silos of the Passero. When we realized we needed to leave, it was the biggest ship we could muster, and somehow she's carried us all the way here. We? Farmers mostly, from outside the city, and the edges. We saw it coming first, I guess, knew it was time. Others didn't want to believe. I was a farmer, had a whole lot of land and people to run it. People had helped convert this place for the long trip. Others had organized the evacuation, they did the plan. None of those folks made it. We were out in the black a long time before we got here, Sleeper. Things happen. The upshot is I was chosen to take over. I guess my crew trusted me and I knew the ship. Good reminded them I'm not leader, that I'm sick as well. But service chose you. A loud clash indicates that the bulkhead doors are ready to open. They groan as they slide back, the metal squealing, echoing across the vast ship. At first all you see is darkness, then the lights go on, and huge strips that stretch back as far as you can see. The space in front of you, a vast bay, bigger than any you have seen, is empty. When we left Earth, we didn't have the time or resource to convert the entire ship. So much of the freight space we sealed away and shut down. But now we have time, we have resources. We've stabilized here, at least for the moment. Now's the time to make use of all this. What are you planning? What do you think happens next for the Eye, Sleeper? The flux already hit one part of the station. From what I know, it'll hit again. On Hearth, we lost everything. There isn't much time, Sleeper. There's enough time to do something. Think of the number of people we can fit on here. The farming stacks, the housing. Hell, we can plant some of those mushrooms you love so much. This is the way forward, the only way. We need to fill the ship with able bodies and head to the Stalwart Belt. I thought the Eye was your destination. I thought the Eye was your destination. It was until the flux hit here. Now it's just another stop. I'm glad of the chance to resupply and salvage, but we need to go further out. I want you to help me out. You know the Eye, you have connections, and you can work hard, I've seen it. I know you're like me, Sleeper. You didn't choose service, but I chose you. There are other ways. If you know him, go ahead, but I'm telling you, this is the opportunity we have now. I know it's a lot to think about, Sleeper, trust me. But think of what we can do here. The flotilla can't last forever. We need more than just farmers to make this work. We need to build a new world for ourselves. I've heard that out there in the belt, there are people who've been setting up since the collapse, making something of their own. That's our future, tucked away in those rocks, far from all this. He crosses his back over the shuttle of the bay and signals the opportunity to close it. Think about it, Sleeper, but don't wait too long. This is happening soon. I guess I got an upgrade point. Yay. Can't spend it, though. Gotta wait another cycle for the thingy-majig with the flux investigation to happen. I can salvage some scraps today. Make myself last longer. Salvage for scraps, please. Get a couple. That should be it. Then next we go and work in the commune for some free food. We just have to work for it. Crazy life hack. Done. All the energy is back. Should I repair a bit? Okay, let's see what happens with the flux investigation. Gotta repair first. Here we go. Alright. Have you ever heard of a con channel, Sleeper? Peek asks as soon as you enter the bay, as if you were in the middle of a conversation. There are heavy circles under the eyes, and you aren't sure if they've moved you've moved since you last visited. The console they're working at seems to have grown too, shadowing their slight frame. The con channels? You mean transit? Keomani's active negation, the name of the effect used to transport hundreds of tons of materials to the surrogate systems to the cores. And I've heard of it in your physics classes. At XPR, they hammered the principles into us as kids. KAN. Con. The process of collapsing spatial causality along the Euclidean distance between 2 points by negating mass simultaneously at both ends of the geodesic curve. Essentially, con channels allow for near instantaneous transport of raw materials between systems. They require huge volumes of energy, of course, and decades of construction, but once a con channel is established, it opens up a system for infinite exploitation. Isn't it for data? Oh, it's for material transport. The backbone of surrogacy is what XPR called them. They might not be able to send anything more complex than a rock through them. Complex machines and people are, shall we say, reconfigured by the process, but raw, molecular, pure materials? Whoosh. Is this your research? What I was trying to find out was whether the Helion system, this system, ever had a CAN channel. CAN channels are vastly expensive to build, to run. Not every surrogate system has one. Many use fraction-drive ships to transport their materials to the nearest hub. But Solheim spared no expense when they established this system. So there's a CAN channel? They shut it down before the collapse. They couldn't run the sender-receiver tradition anymore, but it was there. It still is as far as I can tell, closely orbiting our star. In fact, I'm sure it's still there, because one of the issues with the CAN channel are the massive waves of exotic energy they can produce when cycling up. Flux. Someone is starting up the channel. Who? I don't know. They need a lot of resources to do it, and they need to have people from the core systems. But there's no real large-scale extraction in the Helion system anymore. So why would you go to the trouble? Maybe it's Solheim? The company went under decades ago, Sleeper. Might not get much core news out here, but it's still unlikely. The flux, the wave con effect produces. It's a side effect of a problematic one, but it is a destructive force. If it was, the core systems would have never been able to use it. Why are the colonies collapsing because of it? Why is it chewing through its systems, the kind of ancestral systems that still function within the range of a once active con channel? The moons of Ember have been terraforming since before the collapse. They could have had to deal with the flux. Everything that we have heard from the refugees said it brought down every system they had. The system has been quiet for decades. Solheim collapses, most corporations gave up. From the studied ships that came to begin the work on the sidereal horizon, no one from the course had come here in all that time. The system of logic and exploitation that created your suffering, turning towards Helion system. A shrill bleep catches both of your attention. There's a bunch of markers with chirps. No, this doesn't make any sense. The flux nodes are appearing elsewhere on the station. I set the system to alert me of other flux nodes near the epicenter of the flux event, but these are appearing everywhere. The hub, the low end, the shipyard. How can this happen? The only reason we saw flux nodes here is because of its most run down. It's appearing far away. You're going to need to get me this data in quickly. I'll keep looking for what I have, what I can. Quickly, Sleeper, I mean it. You can learn more about the con channels and system histories when you're back, but this needs our attention right now. Okay, I gotta sleep now. I'm too tired. I can't keep going. I can barely keep my eyes open. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm back from sleeping. I gotta say, the first part of the expansion I really liked. At least the gameplay part of it, or with the timer and stuff. But the second part, without any of the hurry, is more of a... We just go around. It's a lot more cyclical. And even though I get to learn more information about the universe and stuff, which is cool, the gameplay part is a lot more boring. Basically just a time gate. Up. We'll see if it gets better in the third part of the DLC. And also, we're still, I feel like we're still halfway through the second part. We gotta go around and hack for some data and stuff. That shouldn't be too hard. Anyway. Still got some upgrade available. I never really get a good look at my own character. At least not often. Looks pretty sweet. Also, the Citizen Sleeper 2 comes out tomorrow. Anyway, we're supposed to go around and hack some stuff. We should have the dices for this today. Agent, there it is, flux to node. A 6 or a 5. I can do that. What about the other flux to nodes? Oh, there's only one? Oh, there's two at least. A 5 or a 6. Well. Alright. I thought there'd be 3 nodes. Here's a 6. The node is turned inside out. Its skin writhing with distorted data. Let's reroll some dices. Hey, nice. This node beats like a heart. The effect is unsettling. Ew. Is that all we needed? Oh, there's probably one up here. Yeah, that's what I thought. 4 or 6. Hey, we got a 4. Look at that. All done in one day. Neat. What was that? Something's awakening in here. Again. Oh boy. But only inside the hub, strangely. Why the hub specifically? I can't really hack anything else. That's all there is to hack. Weird. Let's cross over. Mushrooms tomorrow. Over here, we got the data. Peek knows the data. I'll be just a moment. Don't leave, Sleeper. You watch as Peek works on the flux data, the nodes unfolding like flowers. She was also going to give us more information on the KAN tunnels. Seeing data like this as an image on the screen is almost unrecognizable representations to you. It's nothing like swimming among the nodes and threads. Despite this, Peek has proven themselves to be more than capable to handle the complex data structures. The bay door hisses and you see Eshe entering. Rough day? She looks at meaty eyes but doesn't respond. They stalk down the bay, head down. She looks tired and not in the mood to talk. How's the weapon hunt? Slow, unsuccessful, tedious. With the Sleeper's help, we're trying to figure out this stuff. Maybe they could help you find the weapon you were smuggling. It's good that Eshe doesn't appreciate Peek's tone. Still looking? And whoever took them better be making the most of their rapidly shortening lifespan now. Eshe, we talked about this. No murder. This is my mistake, Peek, and I'll fix it how I want. I know one of the faction of the flotilla has taken them. I just need to find out. Oh. What is it? They hid it in the wake of the wave. It's alive. Alive? It's growing. It's processing. It's quietly working away in the dark. Look. You cross over to the screen and stand beside Eshe. You can see that Peek has all 4 nodes decoded. All the patterns of shadows from inside of them sit on the screen like dark stains. Then you notice that the movement, the thin thread crossed from one stain to another. As you watch, you notice that the movement only ever happens in your peripheral vision. This is how the other flux node appeared. They weren't fluxed by the wave, they were corrupted after the fact. This thing, this shadow that entered them, it corrupted them, but it made the corruption look like the result of the flux. It's a sleight of hand. The flux wave is so massive, so complex, it opens up the systems to be attacked. As you reconfigure exposed systems, the shadow is broadcast in, implanted inside. The wave from the con channel, it's a brute force way of hitting every system in the Hellion. Once they're vulnerable, they get disrupted. The flux isn't what's attacking the systems. It's a Trojan horse. It's this thing that takes over. It's already on the eye. There's a con channel on the system. Shit, this is bad. We have to take this to someone. Helene. Is that wise? Haven Hedge haven't exactly made good decisions lately. The station administrators, Eshe, they need to know. The argument rages between them. Well, we could just tell everyone, I guess. After a while, they stop, running out of things to say. I need more time. I need to look at solutions, trying to build a case, collate the evidence. We mess this up. Not a word, Sleeper. Don't tell anyone until they're ready. With the tensions among the refugees, Soul won't be ready to hear this, and Elaine and Evan Hage are still married in some kind of crisis. Without Evan Hage, they're likely to read badly. They're likely to react badly, and even with the flotilla stabilized, Soul is not going to react well to this. Need time to build a case. You're too twisted up in this, Peak. This is not our place. We don't owe. Stop, Eshe, stop. You leave them like that, exhausted and troubled, and head back to the Pilgrim Seed. When you close your eyes, you think of those shadows, the movement at the edge of your vision. Something dark is growing, like a parasite. Stop in the corridor and take a breath, putting a hand on the rubbling metal wall. For now, the eye keeps spinning. For now. Gotta wait 2 cycles? We can wait 2 cycles. We can also get some upgrades. More interfacing, because I feel like that's gonna come in handy soon. And while we wait, we can go ahead and gather some more scrap to repair ourselves with. Up. And I can use some photosynthesis on with the 2. And tomorrow we can work with the salvagers, if they're still around. Alright. Ooh, good dices. Too bad we don't have to do anything today. We do actually have to mushroom harvest. That'll come in handy. Nice. Up. Up. Nice. We can make more stabilizer. There'll be enough spores. Nice. All in one day. It's because we had good dices. That was really well timed. Tomorrow we get the information on what happened with the flux nodes stuff. Up. All nice. Let's go back home. Repair. Take a nap and repair again. Okay. The case should be built by now. Yep. Steeper, Peak is waiting for you in the corridor. It's time. Peak looks pale and disheveled, with heavy mark under her eyes and strands of hair sticking to her face. Sure. They hold a thumbnail-sized drive. All the data I've compiled on the flux event, the effects of the wave and the structure that hide within it, is on here. I've annotated it to the best of my ability. Anyone should be able to understand the threat, the potential in this. It makes for grim reading. Without intervention, the Eye will suffer a cascading collapse of systems, just like the colonies of Ember's Moon. Intervention? I'm still working on that. The shadow in the flux, this protocol, is so hard to pin down. It adapts to any countermeasures I've tried to deploy. It's like trying to hold water in a cage. It slips straight through. There has to be a way. We need help, Sleeper. This is about everyone on this station. We have to set up a meeting to tell someone who can do something about all this. Helene? Perhaps? What about both of them? If anyone can protect the Eye, it's Avenhage, but their internal politics will make this hard for them to act. Will they ever even listen to us? Or perhaps we've been thinking about this all wrong. Why make a choice when we can tell both of them? That's what I thought. We need to resist together, or we fail. Both? Both. Another flux event is coming, I'm sure of it, and I'm not sure we can survive without help. You need to do this. I can't. You know Soul, you know Eileen, they trust you. Them are just another spacer, but you are part of this place. Hearing someone else say that this is too hard. You're part of the Eye. Peak is right, but right now that feels more like a weakness than a strength. I've set up a data relay at the cordon. It's neutral ground. Take the data and send it out to Avenhage and the flotilla. Once they receive it, they'll come. We can be sure of that. We'll meet them and take them through it all. No one could do a better job. Come with me, please. I can't. It will only draw a suspicion on you. Avenhage wants nothing to do with us, and Soul is paranoid at best. Uh-huh. Sounds like an excuse. Thank you, Sleeper. I know this is hard, but we have to move forward. We can't keep the artist to ourselves anymore. Come talk to me once it's done. So we gotta set up a meeting. Send flux data. Ah, that's the final episode. Once you send the data, Purge and the final series of events on the Eye will begin. After this point, you will not be able to return, pick other drives, or find other endings. Well, I do want to find other endings. I do want to go into the ship and escape. That would be my preferred ending. To leave this place. Can I save? No. Well, alright. Send flux data. Alright then. Peaks relay pings a confirmation. The data is sent. All you can do is wait for the response. With the data sent, the only thing to do is wait. And as you do, you imagine Elena receiving the data, perhaps in the middle of some Ivanage council meeting. You think of her trembling hands as you think of her trembling hands as she slips out of the room to read it, a reaction you can't predict. You imagine Soul 2, one of his crews, finding him in some corner of the Pilgrim Seed, overseeing the modification that will turn it into an arc. Those sharp eyes scanning the data, looking for a way to proceed. The weight draws out, and to pass the time, you watch the activity beyond the edge of the eye. The scrap shuttles pulling components from the now abandoned cordon, and the supply skiffs making runs between the flotilla ships. It isn't long before you hear the chirping of one of Ellen's now familiar drones, and then Helena herself strides into the room. Where did you get this, Sleeper? I need to know your source. A friend? You seem to have a lot of friends, Sleeper, but I need this data authenticated. I can't just... There's a lot to take in. A shadow protocol inside the flux, the system's con channel starting up, a total collapse of the eye. If you bring it to the council, they'll believe you. Do you know what has been happening within Avenhage, Sleeper? Since the refugee ships started arriving, things have changed. It's chaos. No one can settle on a single issue. There's a division at every vote, but in the division only one group prospers, the hardliners. Because as each councillor gets tired of the arguments, gets tired of compromise, they become more attracted to easy answers. The flotilla is to blame. The refugees are opportunists. The eye must be defended. Now you're telling me that they brought something to the eye that will cause its collapse? The eye should be defended. What does that mean, Sleeper? You're telling me that the threat is intangible, a shadow, a formless protocol. How can we defend ourselves from that? Well, aren't you like... That's your job. For the refugees, they're all too tangible. That's what will draw the council's focus. That's stupid. Someone will say refugees. Speak of the devil, and well, here I am. Hitting glances between the two of you. So, I believe we have spoken remotely while the cordon was still up. I sent both of you the data. Well, thank you. Evidence of our mutual inevitable construction is not much of an olive branch, but I'll take it. I'm not Avenhage. What I mean to say is no one person represents Avenhage, that's the idea. I do not support the cordon, and I do not support your quarantine. Well then, anyone mind if I get myself up to speed here? The flux events, the very same that destabilized the waves that collapsed the colonies on the moon, have reached the station. According to the data the Sleeper provided, these events are acting as the cover for some kind of intruding protocol, which is causing the real damage. I'm just gonna close the door to avoid background noises. 3. The Shadow Protocol will do the very same thing it did to Ember's Song, Step and Hearth, and quickly. In short, it will shut down everything keeping this place alive. 4, and that's my favorite, we have no idea who or what is doing this and why. It's about the total of 3? And there's another one coming. Of course there is. Sounds intimidating. You managed to put any kind of resistance on Ember's Hearth. That's why we're here. The Pilgrim Seed was the biggest ship to make it out unscathed. I suppose we didn't have this data. We didn't... The ship survived unscathed? I suppose we didn't have this data. We didn't know what was eating up the systems. We all thought it was the flux. And I imagine you, Sleeper, and whoever helped you uncover this, might be able to find a countermeasure? I don't know. We can try. If you'll forgive me, part of why I was able to save as many as I could on Amber's Heart was that I gave up hope early. There were endless strategy meets, systems reboots, tests, and trials. But I just got on to working on the Pilgrim Seed. We're getting people on board, so when the second and the third and the rest of the Flux event hits, ready to go. So I can offer you some advice, Miss Not Avenhage. It is to give up on that line of thoughts you have, the hope, and to start the evacuation right now, right this cycle. I've already started the process of converting the remaining volume of the Pilgrim Seed to a human habitation. With Evanhage resources, I dare say we could finish the job with time to spare. I know it's hard and I know it's sudden, but we have to give up hope. We have to run. There'll be no heroes there, just those that keep living and those that don't. Elaine makes calculation. She looks out at the bulk of the Pilgrim Seed. Despite all its vastness, it's dwarfed by the eye as a whole. Let me think, I need a moment. Elaine paces, and as you watch her, you realize how young she is, and how she is in the systems and protocols she has to navigate. You can almost see the strings and ties that bind her, glinting like webs in the wide space of observation platform. We have to purge the protocol. But why? But with what resources? The data you sent me, this thing is a shadow, uncontrollable, untraceable. Perhaps with the full contingent of the Ivanhoe system department, but that would require hundreds of work orders to be overlooked. Maintenance schedules abandoned. Getting that through the council, will that even be possible? We have to try. He looks at the slate again. I'll take this to the council. Force them to listen, force them to act. You both jump as someone loudly clears their throat nearby. Your eyes jump to the dark entryway. Kemp. A hardline counselor. What a cozy little meeting this is. I must say that it's some very incendiary rhetoric you are using in Counselor Helene. Kemp. Soul shifts his weight on his cane, but otherwise remains still, like a casual observer. Plotting against Evanhage with an interloper, everyone will be so disappointed. Some of the counselors had such high hopes for our youngest member. I, of course, never let the novelty distract from the importance of experience. Enough of this petty shit, Camp. You need to see this. The games are over. No more point scoring, no more lobbying. You and your hardliners need to stop. There's something real. The company takes the slate and prowls the screen, scrolling through the flux data. He sees his eyes complex calculations making as he sees the data. What do you think this shows? Don't play games. You can read. The flux is a carrier signal for some shadow protocol, most likely corporate in nature. Maybe it's Solheim remerging to take claim of the station, maybe it's a takeover, but either way the station's under threat. You're right about that, but the rest? Conjecture. What rest? There wasn't any rest. What we have is a virus in our systems which emerged precisely when the Floated arrived. In fact, it times in perfectly with the mysterious events that freed them. What I see is a hostile cyber warfare attack instigated by dissidents that fled Ember's moon. They're committing terrorist act on their own soil. That is nothing of the fact. That is the order of the facts, nothing more, nothing less. Facts I'll be happy to present to the council. You think that's the only copy of the data, you sanctimonious shit? No, I don't, but who do you think they'll listen to, Helene? Especially if I tell everyone about this clandestine meeting. You could win power by Ivanhage systems by our law, so you resort to this. The law is with me. It is as simple as that. Now, no need for that. Two Ivanhage security officers appear. A group of his crew stands at the edge of the room. They're carrying long, boxy guns. Never seen anything like them on the eye. Glossy XPR logos glint along the barrels. They're Esches guns. Be careful, they're outsider. Kill me and Ivanhage will never forget. Soul waves a hand. No one's killing anyone, so let's calm down. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And you'll leave your colleague here with me. We haven't finished our conversation. You're finished, Helene. The council will never allow. Woo. You all pause to catch your breath. Helene looks ready to collapse. Saul flexes inside his suit, nodding to his crew to check that the camp is fully retreated. Your friends leave a lot to be desired. Seems like support for the evacuation might be a hard ask. Helene doesn't respond. She stares out at the Pilgrim Seed once more, trying to process what's in front of her. I won't call for an evacuation. Maybe that's a physical mistake, but I can't do it. But I won't block it either. If people want to leave, Ivanhage will let them. This is what I will propose to the council. You have to try. Good luck. I'll be honest with you, Sleeper. None of this changes anything for me. The Pilgrim Seed will be going full of cycles whether the Ivanhage wants it or not. You can abandon the Eye. I seem to remember it was us being abandoned not so long ago. I'm not sure the reverse applies. There's a berth for you, and for anyone that you can gather, Sleeper. That much I owe. Well, whatever. My crew will take me from there. Don't you worry. And thank you, Sleeper, for sending the data. I appreciate the extra info, and I'll see it if it can help us shore the Pilgrim Seed against any future Flux events. If we had your back on Ember's Hearth. Of course, we're going to need all the help we can get. If you can spare some time, come to Pilgrim Seed to help me get it ready. There's a future there, cycle by cycle. We'll be leaving as soon as we're able. If you want to help us get there faster, well, you'll be welcome. Anyway, don't keep me waiting. Peak will want to hear all about you. It should be your first port of call. Pilgrim prep. I can do some engineering checks over here. As you enter the climbing briar, you immediately have to jump aside as Eshe, lugging a massive crate across the cargo bay, pushes past you. Stay silent. As you turn back to the bay, Peak pushes past you. Sorry, Sleeper, just a second. Put that down, please, Eshe. We can't leave, not yet. I'm the only one who can... Can do what, Peak? Save this place? Are you still that naive? We're running, Peak. We're running because this thing cannot be stopped. It couldn't be stopped at XPR or our home. Why would we stay to stop it here? Stop what? XPR wasn't hit by the flux wave. Because we can, Eshe. We can give these people a chance. Like they gave the refugees a chance. No, Peak, this is not on us. We barely made out of XPR. I worked for years to escape and now you want to throw it all away? I left everything behind, my mother, my friends, to take you out of that place. We go, that's the end of it. Peak turns away. You feel unsure what to do, but you know it's not the time for outside arguments. I'm sorry you had to see that, Sleeper. Let's talk upstairs. They go upstairs. Here, sit. She gestures to a curved couch, and you sit on one side. So how did it go? What did they say? Talk about camp. Peak looks increasingly troubled as you tell him about the hardline counselor camp's sudden appearance. Damn, that Helene's going to have problems of her own to deal with. Won't be able to count on anything from Evanhage. What stopped camp from arresting them? The guns. Of course, those are the guns. Eshe managed to smuggle through the refugees. What's on us? Sleeper found the weapons you smuggled from XPR. If Matilda used them? What happened? Be thankful they didn't. They used them as a threat, that's all. Good. Pete goes to speak but then decides not to take the bait. I'm sure you've heard enough of us arguing the cycle, Sleeper. Our introduction to those weapons into the equation as just a result is just another reason why we simply can't we simply cannot run away. She surely knows she cannot absolve themselves of responsibility here, so what is motivating her? She still tries to protect Peak from herself. A shrill beeping fills the room. As they do, they freeze, their finger hovering above the screen, the beeping continuing its insistent pulse. Peak doesn't seem to hear you. They blink with glazed eyes at the slate. And they do a long exhale. 12 cycles until the next flux event. I've been using the arrays on the briar to look towards the center of the system, to approximately where the con channel should be. Just this moment, they detect the signal from the inner system. Given the distance and patterns of previous flux events, we have 12 cycles before it reaches the eye. Doggy, why? We start now, that's the end of it. You want to take the briar and vanish? That's on you, I won't do it. I'll be here, Sleeper. For every cycle it takes trying to find a solution, I need your help. We will find something. The sooner we have a plan, the better. If it takes us 12 cycles to fix this thing, it'll be too late. So he passes us a slate, so we can keep in touch. And Eshe? Peak starts, but she's gone, storming down the corridors of the ship. You know from experience that this is impossible to outrun your fears, but you get a sense that Eshe will try anyway. Doggy white. See you soon. And then they go and cry in a corner. Devise a strategy. Gotta do it fast. Hey, it's an interface one. I knew interface was gonna come in handy. Peak is desperately trying to look for a way to combat both the coming flux and the Shadow Protocol infesting the station. But if I can defeat the Shadow Protocol once, the second flux hitting should help. Peak beckons you over to a wide mess table where they have set up terminals. The hours of bleary-eyed work have left you both drained, and Peak looks ready to collapse. You slide onto the curved couch beside them, something dark and malevolent filling their screen like an oil stain. Not quite. That's not what you think. Not by a long shot. You look again at the screen. Leaning close, leaning in close to the dark curved shape of to see its texture. You see worlds and currents like a river, a dark flow. You know exactly what that is. You have some in the river, almost drowned in its shifting flow. It's the garden's chorus. The dark cloud which blankets the Greenways network, the bioorganic morass of a malfunctioning protocol grown vast and strange. The Gardener. Have you met them? I have. Incredible, then perhaps you won't be surprised by what I'm about to propose. Everything I have tried to do to connect the Shadow Protocol has been a failure. It slips through any containment, absorbs any countermeasure. And yet the eye still spins. The Shadow Protocol is being slowed, partially contained. That's spread across the station, and as we have seen, but it is reduced to pockets and fragments. I started to look outside of our test cases. Outside of these fragments we have been poking. Look what I found. You tap on the terminal and you realize the screen is showing a recording of data flows inside the eye's network. sample from hundreds of points around the greenway. You watch a subtle shift occurs at the edge of the flowing dark curve that blankets the greenway. Something spreading like an ink stain. Somehow darker than black, it bleeds across. Now watch. She points at the screen. You see something strange, a fizzing at the edge of the shadow, a sparking. Then it's gone. And beneath for a moment, a millisecond, you see into the networks of the greenway. You're reminded of an image you had forgotten, of pulling a plant from its spot and seeing a bone with a bone white root ball, which made to see dark soil. The white connection writhes like worms. It dissolved the shadow. It protected itself. You think back to meeting with the gardener, to that sense of something old in the world and inhuman to its core. This is the only chance we have, the only countermeasure we have seen. At the moment it opened, it detected something, a centralized intelligence, the gardener. This protocol, it can protect its network from the shadow protocol. But if it stays in the greenway, the eye will still fall. The station systems are too exposed, too spread across the hub. The only way to break it open, to spread the entity's network. The only way is to break it open, to spread it. I've been inside their peak. This gardener, can they help us? You try to remember what strange beings said to you, but all you remember is the feeling of dissolving into that network. The heady mix of growth and decay, the ceaselessness of it. Would they protect the station, or would they might simply dissolve it? They could. Peak stands up and walks away a little. Greenway seems to be doing fine. They lean against the countertop, their head hanging so low that their long hair touches the work surface. I don't know, Sleeper. I really don't know. We'll try. You know as well as speak that this is it. You have known it because over the past cycles you have run every simulation, every possibility you could think of, and still come up with nothing. You've stared at a hole in your screen, and dreamt of the black shadow creeping in at the edge of your vision. Peak recognizes the look in your eyes, the potent cocktail of resignation and anger. Let's say we do this, what do we need? They begin to answer in their own question. I suppose we need to do two things. Find a way to limit or control the gardener spread, and then reconnect the greenway. Controlling the spread means preparing the station. Limit the gardener's network to key systems. We don't want to take in everything. We just need to protect the station's core functionality. Then we need to reconnect the greenway, hook it back up to the main line of the network. Those systems we prepared, they should connect, and the gardeners will spread along the path we prepared. That's my theory, but if we don't prepare it correctly, then the gardener might not spread, or might spread to everything, and things will get worse. It can be worse than total collapse. Don't say it, Sleeper. Rotation control at the hub, life support at the free spokes, power routing at the Heaven Hate shipyards. There's the central core as I understand. It is something in the rim. I need to find it. Oh wait, then there's the central core, somewhere on the rim. We gotta find it. We see the gardener in all these places, but how are we going to do that? We can transplant. Of course, the gardener needs plants to take care of. This is what their protocol dictates. They must have been part of the farming management system. We seed greenway plants into those systems and the gardener will seek them out. Protect them. It's a wild idea, but it could work. Well, we already have some of that with the spores, the mushroom spores. But we'll need a way into those systems. Even Age have most of them locked down for safety purposes. We can just walk in. I know a guy. Someone in the Heaven Age systems teams. After everything he dragged you through, you feel like Fang still owes you. No, the tracker thing was really good. Okay, well I guess we should pay him a visit. Lead the way. Time to go to Fang's Bay. Can I still try to go for the ending where I escape in the ship? Or is that over yet now? And no longer doable? No, I can still work on it. If I needed to. Two things thingy. There it is. Fang's Bay. Find Fang. Fang isn't in his bay, and no one in the office upstairs seems to know where he is. Your lone clue is an out to lunch note. Alright, we'll get him tomorrow. Let's eat a bit. Alright. Oh, I can see this the timer here. Nice. Okay, Fang. Here we are. Show yourself, please. That is, no more wasting time. Peek signs and pulls out their slate. They crack open the box on the side of the base shutters and wires the slate on what's inside. Maybe your friend has an Haven-age passcode or something inside. They wouldn't mind if we borrow. Let's wait. We haven't got the time to wait. Coming here was a mistake. After a few tense moments, the shutter jerks begin to get open. The door is making you jump. Let's get inside, quickly. You slip inside the dark of the bay, punctuated by the blinking light of Fang's pals the servers. Peek makes a beeline for the desk at the center. Are you sure this person can help us? Yes. You're interrupted by the sound of footsteps on the entrance. Someone has come in behind you. Bang. I could swear I closed the shutter when I left. Must be getting forgetful. Sloppy. I'm the one who makes the joke sleepers. Don't start. So thought you'd come rob an old friend. Is that the plan? Where have you been? I have a feeling you know what you let out already. He picks up a tool from the server top, turning it on the light. Been investigating that event which hit the station several cycles back. I've heard it called the Flux. That's why we're here. I guess that's much. I saw changes in the old system architecture almost immediately. Something had been running since the first days of the station, and so when I saw the new patterns, shifts in logic, I knew something must have happened. These past cycles have been doing a total inventory of the core systems from the hub to the rim. I've surprised myself, to be honest. I didn't think I had it in me. What did you find? That's the thing. There's something all twisted up in the systems and protocols, but every time I look, it disappears. It always do that. Peek ignores him. It's a shadow protocol. It masks itself somehow, bedding into the gaps between the systems into the negative space. It's slowly filling every system in the station, slowly taking over. And we need to stop it. We need to grant us access to all the core systems of the station, rotational control, life support. Whoa, slow down there. I don't even know your name. And you're asking for the keys to the castle? Can't be done. You can trust him. How long have you known this one, Sleeper? I know I owe you, but I also know you can't trust too easily, sorry to say it. I can't vouch for myself. I came to the Eye on the run from the next PR colony. Hawthorne, with the intent to keep running it until we hit the Star Belt. But since I have been here, I've done everything in my power to protect this place. I've helped to stabilize the refugee flotilla, to investigate the Flux, to identify and make a plan to purge the Shadow Protocol. Meanwhile, Haven-age has done everything to stop and slow these actions. I've proven myself as a friend to the people of this station, not the administration, many times over. I will not be doubted by someone who wears the badge of this corrupt administration. Fang looks down at his Haven-age jacket. This is all I have in my wardrobe. Look, I have no love for the council either, friend, but someone has to run this place. And that someone is me. Fang walks over to the workbench where you're both standing. You want to prove yourself? Show me. Peek grabs the slate and you recognize the tangled form of a Flux node on the screen. Peek immediately starts tapping it away at it. Its tendrils unwinding in the station, just slightly delayed, slipping out of sight. Interesting. Before long, Peek has unfolded his system completely, and it lies splayed out like an unwound ball of steel. Like an unwound... It's good. At the center, with nowhere left to hide, is the dark stain of the Shadow Protocol, visible for all to see. What now? How do you kill it? This one entity on the station that we have seen purging the shadow, the Gardener. Who's that, some Greenway hacker? An avatar of the Greenway itself. You explain the Gardener to Fang, the feeling of descending into the flowing river of consciousness. You explain the network chorus, the non-human collective of voices. You tell him the farming's AI's offer to you. You've been networking to the chorus, dissolving its flow. Then you explain that by granting it access to the AI's major networks, you hoped for reinforcing them. You want to let this thing out? That's the kind of stupid plan I dream up. I like it. This place is rammed with weird protocols and forgotten intelligence anyway. What's one more ghost in the machine? We try to limit it, of course. That's why I want to help you access the AI's major system, to seed some of the Gardener's spores into them, to draw the Gardener's focus to those places. The way we save the Eye is by growing mushrooms in all the server stacks. Sleepers, congratulations, you found someone weirder than you. Peek goes to argue, but Fang holds up a hand. And it is an all-systems Haven-age pass card. Take it before I change my mind. Thanks. Don't mention it. In all honesty, Sleeper, I was on my way back here to start tearing the place down. The Shadow Protocol had me spooked. So if you're telling me you have figured out a way that we might fight it, no matter how crazy, then I'm glad to help. What are you gonna do? I have to keep those on my I have to keep on with my work here. Strengthen the systems, back up the data. The worst comes to worst, I'll need to rebuild. How long does the place die? The last piece of my parents are here among the data. Cool. Stay safe, Sleeper. In the facilities into the hub, the free spoke, and the far side of the shipyard, see the Gardener there. I'm going to find the core control center somewhere in the rim. I'll send you a message on your slate when when we have something. Good luck. You know deep down that Peak isn't sure that this will work, but they have to decide to act, to move with confidence, and for that confidence, you are very thankful. Like this? No. Like this? Oh, you have to manually go there. Oh, I have to go... Okay, I have to actually go and get spores. Sure, I can do that. All today, too. Give me a sec. Some spores. Some more spores. Thank you very much. Alright. We have plenty now. Here's one, life support. This still feels like madness, but you have to do it. Once that's done, we have to reconnect the greenway to this place. I think. That's the wrong place. That's the right place. Done. We'll get a call from Peak. I wonder how long this is gonna take, because I feel like we're moving pretty fast. As you leave, the Slate Peak gave you chirps instantly. You check and see the message. Found a possible entry to the core facility in the low end. Meet me there ASAP. Peak. A marker. Better head to the low end. Right around here. Oh, there it is. You have at the coordinates given by Peak Slate, a rundown but active corner of this low end where a short glass-roofed alley turns off from one of the main thoroughfares. You wait in the mouth of the alley, leaning against the wall and watching the street life go by. Children hop across the grids, scratch onto the metal floor plates, playing games of their own devising, while other residents sit or talk or play tavla. I believe that all this is a threat. It seems so concrete, so real. How can some intangible protocol erase all this? As you're watching, a voice calls out to you. One of the tavla tables. You move a little closer and recognize the sitting player immediately. Castor sits, tavla piece and board ready in front of him, smiling at you. Sleeper. My partner has not arrived for our usual game. Come, please, take her place. He beckons you over to him, standing and nudging you to sit down with him. A rematch is in order. You owe me a game. Almost immediately, Castor begins the game. Everyone on the eye knows how to play tavla. The methodical movement of the counters across the triangular points are ready fit for the rhythm of life on the ramshackle space station. Most games begin with the same way, with each player moving with independence, focused only on achieving their optimal early game setup. There's a moment in each game where it becomes necessary to notice the other player, to anticipate the crossing of the counters, a point of contact, when routine becomes negotiation and negotiation becomes conflict. This moment arrives, this little shift in the texture of the interaction. I find myself surprised by you, continually, Sleeper. The way you conduct yourself, for example, suggests an anxious refrain, a defensive protective quality. But in your tavla game, I see only risk. Risk is of course necessary to play tavla, to move a piece to expose it, but it should be done with calculation, with proper analysis. Then the piece is taken. Castor moves a counter, taking one of yours with a practice swap. It's already accounted for. But you move forward with abandon, as if risk was just a secondary effect of action. A consequence, not a primary guide. A cause. See what I mean? Risky in play, but defensive in mood. This locks you into being reactive, if you don't mind me saying so. You're responding, which means you're being led. The space that mirrors you, Sleeper. It is also corrective. It was born from a crisis, the collapse of Solheim, and ever since it has been reacting without any guiding principle. No analysis, no calculation. Just look at the refugee crisis, for example. It is all reaction, all risk-taking, and little risk calculation. At first I found the chaos enlivening, especially when trying to track its outcomes, but now I find it exhausting. It always amuses me that this space is literally spun from the rim. Below this very stack of habitation blocks is the most important control facility on the eye. Spun from the rim. What better metaphor could you find for disorder? But why am I telling you that? The facility is precisely why you are here. You feel a shiver through the body, as if something has changed in the air. What is this? No words come from out of your mouth. You feel removed from yourself. Your eyes dart side to side. The risk you're planning to take here, Sleeper, is not yours to take. Caster's tone is unshifted. He speaks as if this is still some casual conversation. You're leaping towards a chaotic outcome with no respect for risk. You see, calculating outcomes, that's my specialty. That's why I'm here. I was hired as a conduit for risk, as a collector of data that might pertain to its arrival. You remove his glass to clean them, and you see something flicker across the surface, a shimmering stream of characters. The system, the station, is already theirs. Solheim's collapse meant a corporate fire sale. Assets changed hands, my employers, a Senate set, bought out the entire system, and for the past decades I have been its one valid owner. But to possess the system, the H1 system, alien to you, that's a matter of risk, of how much force, how much cost, how much conflict a clearance would take. That risk must be calculated against a favorable outcome. In short, it's how much this place is worth to us. For a long time, the answer was nothing. H1 could offer nothing that would warrant the risk. But the market changed demands, and Senate said we analyze, we follow, we respond. H1 is about to become the most important system in this part of the galaxy. The lone count channel operating within a range of 7 or so newly surveyed resource-rich systems. The frontier town that feeds the gold rush, so to speak. So here we are, re-evaluating the risk, reclaiming our property, starting up the count channel and clearing the way for what comes next. Your move. Take your move. You go to lift a piece and something glints across Caster's glasses. You feel the slowness of the inertia begin to lessen. You move your piece, taking one of Caster's exposed counters. Of course, I don't need to explain myself to you, but in the role as an analyst and my calculations, I see great promise in you. In your ability to enter systems, to shift them to your will. Not every sleeper has this capacity, I assume you know that. It surely is a wonderful happenstance of Ascenharp's technology. I imagine they're not even fully aware of it. He takes his move, claiming another of your pieces. And you realize that as you watch, you realize the inevitable of his victory. I'll make you an offer to come willingly or come by force. This station will collapse. You can be sure of that, but your ability to work with data, for an analyst, that is very intriguing. Very intriguing indeed. Come with me as a collaborator or as a prisoner. Consider the risk. On one hand, a most certain death, on the other, a possible future. Analyst or not, you must see it. Speak now, Sleeper. The game is forfeit. You must see that. You're of value. You are needed. You feel a slight release of the inertia that grips you. Enough to allow you to speak, to respond. You realize that you are already in Castor's hand, that you cannot move from this place if you wanted. Sleeper, your familiar voice above the crowd. Sleeper, I'm here. You're able to turn your head to see Peak, but you notice Castor's eyes following them as they come from behind you. Then you see Castor's eyes glance down towards his hands, concealed beneath the table. Sleeper, we were supposed to be meeting, you remember? Am I interrupting something? You cannot speak. Castor should speak a wild smile. He must be a friend of the Sleeper. You watch one of his hands lift, close to his body, some dark shape concealed in it, a weapon. You try to scream, to shout, but Castor's attention remains partially to you. While it does, you can do nothing. What's happening here, Sleeper? They put a hand on your shoulder. Are you okay? As Peak stares into your eyes, you see Castor behind it, his hands lifting at the dark object unfolding. In a split moment, you feel his attention shifting to Peak, shifting away from you. As you do, you feel the inertia lifting, and you know this is the only moment you will have to act. Shove. You lurch forward wildly, like a sprung trap. Your head strikes Peak's chest, and then carries them back into Castor. Somewhere, some digital screech is echoing through the walkway. They tumble together, and the object in Castor's hand skitters across the floor. You realize the screech is yours. You get to your feet, grab Peak, and run. You run as hard as you can, the scream chasing you down the walkway as you shove to the residence, Peak dragged behind. You run from the cold grip of whatever power Castor had over you, the signals that locked you into this body of yours, that broke the connections and crawled up your spine. Eventually you stop, both of you in Peak collapsing, heaving, breathing. When they are about to speak, Peak asks you to explain, and you tell them everything Castor told you. It flows out of you, in desperate gulps, unable to believe your own mouth as you hear these words coming back to you. All you feel is the need to push back against the cold hand on your shoulder, the vast cold eyes that are turned to look at the system, the ghost limbs of corporate control. Peak is quiet for a long time, then they speak. We have to finish this, Sleeper. We have to complete the seeding of the systems. We have to set the gardener free. Sure. If the choice is between the gardener and these people, I'll choose the gardener every time. I would choose anything over them. You stand together. The final control facility is here. I found it. I can take you as soon as you are ready. Right? It's not much of a choice, is it? Explode the facility, hack the facility, crack the facility. Sure. This will be pretty good. We can continue tomorrow. I hope. Fingers crossed. Also, are the Savages back? Oh, they're gonna be back tomorrow. That'll be a big money run. It'll help us save up on the stabilizer. It's not the first of the corporations that is trying to reclaim the station and the system. Usually they want the system, not the station. And the Eye being here will be direct competition, so that's why they're trying to kill it, I think. On purpose. Salvager time. Alright. Hey boys. Give me your finding, please. Scrap. More scrap, please. Come on, one more. Yes. Nice. Let's repair. There we go. Eat a bit. And then explore again. Or hack. Whatever we get. Reroll some dices. That's pretty good. The force can give us some guaranteed successes. Almost done here. Done. I lost some energy though. Steeper here, an elevator to the core. This is it. It's been a long set of cycles hunting for... We know it wasn't. It's been a long set of cycles hunting for a path through the derelict layers of old Solheim offices and workshops, but finally here it is. The path down to the core. You rush over to peek. As you do, the doors grind open, the dingy looking elevator flickering as they do. You look at Peek, who nervously gestures for you to get in. The elevator bounces a little, but stays stable, so you glance back to see Peek watching you nervously. Just a little nervous. Peek reaches over and pushes the button to the lowest level. The elevator sets off screeching through the floors as it does, at an unsettling loud volume. I feel more comfortable if we spoke. It's not going to be a short trip. Have you heard of SynetSat? Maybe once. Could be mentioning it in the XPR news packet, the kind of central administration sent us out. Something about market analytics, I think. When you have spent so much time trying to forget your past, this stuff isn't easy to dredge up. How's Eshi? I was thinking more like a small talk, elevator talk. She's packing. Once Eshi has set her mind to something, you know what I mean. Can she persuade it to stay? I doubt it, I really do. She left her life behind to take me out of XPR, out of Hawthorne. I can't imagine her settling for just anywhere. To be honest, I can't see her letting me stay here either, but I guess things have changed. Back then at Hawthorne, I wasn't in a place to know what I do. I was desperate, I was ready to run, but now? I feel done with that. I'm done with denying my past, my history. If I ever want to feel complete, to feel settled, don't I need to somehow resolve the person I am? Peek goes quiet as you do. There are many possibilities. Yeah, there are many possible questions, too many possibilities before you. It just seems easier to get on with the task at hand. The elevator screams to a stop and the doors open with a strangely cheerful beep. You both walk out into the atrium, still lit by some ragged-looking light panel on the ceiling, one simulating a summer sky, now degraded into a flickering blue and white tapestry of glitches. Peek crosses quickly, making a beeline for the large doors on the far side, where you can make out the fading sign of a massive peeling letter, Central Control. You follow, helping them lever open the partially powered motors, until the motors kicks in and they spring to life, thudding open. You and Peek tumbled through, across the damp metal. As you stand, you are greeted by flickering lights, thousands of them. A vast cylindrical stack of servers, processors, and transmitters dominate the center of the room, its flickering LEDs reflected in the scattered puddles that surround it. Despite the decay, the warped panels, and the water leaks, it's still running, just as it has for decades and decades. Since the station was first spun up, you wonder how long it has been since anyone has been in the room. You exchange wide-eyed looks with Peek. This place is a still living piece of history. What now? Now we see this place. They cross the servers and start packing the mulch deep into the machinery, pushing Fistful deep into the gaps in the paneling, laying it across the hardware. As you watch them doing this, you feel a tug, a thread pulling at you. You approach the vast cylindrical piece that Peak is stuffing mulch into. You run your hands across its plated metal surface. As you pass, you hear a whirring, like a physical disk drive starting up. Lean closer. Put your face against the metal, smell the hot air venting from the hardware. Heart was the right choice of word, you think. The whirring shifts, alternating speeding up, slowing down. As you listen, you hear it modulating to a voice. Sleeper, you are here. For a moment, you are afraid, but something in the tonality of the voice is familiar. The navigator. Another drive spins up, and another, giving the voice a richer, multi-tonal tone. I had forgotten what it felt like to speak like this. There's a certain quality to it, a certain physicality. What are you doing here? Do you imagine the Flux, the Shadow Protocol, that they were just a problem for the people of the station? They're all the more dangerous to us. I've been hiding in once more, jumping from network to network to avoid the Shadow as it eats up nodes. I had thought my hiding days were done. For the moment, I have found myself a safe haven in the core. The Shadow has yet to breach this facility, although it is a temporary state of affairs. But the predictions do not point to a good outcome. We have a plan. To explain to the Navigator about Peak's plan, about the Gardener's resistance to the Shadow, and how by seeding key systems you will protect them from its advance. A desperate plan, but appropriate given the probability of total collapse. I'm not sure what will be worse for us, hiding from the erasure of the Shadow, or the assimilation of Gardener. But we owe you our freedom. I'll do what I can to guide the Gardener into the systems you have seeded. It is correct to do so. Thank you. You have notable persistence, Sleeper. Even with such poor probability of success, I will be curious to see the outcome. This cannot be sustained much longer. Good luck. A final squeak of affirmation, and then the drives skitter and slow to a halt. You step back from the towering cylinder, staring at the vast piece of Solheim hardware. This whole place is built from ghosts, you think, from old protocols and company hardware, from engines that drove decades of corporate expansion. Is the eye proof that they can be shifted, bent, forced into new configurations that allow for new ways of living? Or the inevitable collapse proof that these engines of expansion can never be anything other than a corrupt foundation? This seems to depend on who you ask. The heat and dam should be here. The heat and dam should help the spores germinate quickly. If we're lucky, there is enough time for some growth before we reconnect the heart to the Greenway. That's it. All the facilities seeded. We either just ensured the eye's survival or stuffed a whole lot of soil into one of its most important computers. Shall we go? Take a last look. We wonder what might be tucked away in the structures, what secrets it might hold, what histories. If the eye is to become anything more than an offshoot, a temporary structure, it must form its own history, its own stories, stronger than anything that came before. Unlocking the Solheim secret won't do that, but the persistence, the stubborn drive to survive. That will, this is what you're trying to save. You turn back into the core and follow Peak back into the elevator. As you ride back, Peak raises their voice over the screeching. I'm going to the Founders Gap to finalize the connection. The moment I'm ready, I'll let you know, and we'll let the Gardeners out. The sooner the better. If we wait until the final cycle, it'll be too late. If you want to help speed things up, go work with the Flotilla. We can't make the connection until we know they're ready to go. Really? Unleashing the Gardener could affect them too if we aren't careful. And then? I don't know. We'll see. Well, now it's time to help the refugees. Which I was trying to avoid. I didn't want to do that questline. Oh well. Let's go out. No, it's only been 2 cycles. We'll be fine. Presumably. We can prep the pilgrim. As you stop to rest in one of the pilgrim seats cavernous bays, hopping up to sit on the supply crate, you have a familiar voice behind you. Sleeper, I'm glad you're here. I knew you'd help us. We surely appreciate everything you do for us. No worries. I do mean it, Sleeper. It's a grim job to be doing without a few friends around. It seems the word got out that this way or that. We've had people flowing in from the eye looking for a place. In truth, it's more than I thought, which means more mouths to feed, more bodies to hose, more people to protect. Can you do it? We'll do what we can, as always. I'm not sure if it can be enough. We're supposed to stay here, not keep running. Don't listen to me. Just a tired old man. I have something to ask, though. What is it? All these evacuees, we will need a change in plan. Pilgrim Seed can't do it alone. We need the others to help us out. We can carry them, house them, but that's all. Now you settle down the folks from Ember's Step, and they send us supplies. If we could get more, and then the Song's crew. What we need from them is scouting and security. We don't need that docking access of theirs. But with some careful scavenging, they could be our fleet. These folks, they know you, Steeper. You earned their trust already. I sent my request out, and they seem to be complying, but I need you out to make sure the work gets done. Sure, sure, sure. He climbs on the crate with his suit hissing as he does. Think of it this way, either way you won't have to deal with me much longer, unless of course you were planning to come along for the trip. I'm staying. Sol waves a hand, starts off towards the base entrance, the crackling sound of the welding quickly covering up the clanking his suit. You have to go and do some work. I knew you'd come. You're very welcome here, as always. Good to see you. And you, Sleeper. Aki puts a hand on your arm. Walk with me. You look inside and see other members of the crew working in orange dust. We are here to be the suppliers for the evacuees, I'm sure you have heard. We will put the dust house to use. We are adapting, slowly, but we are adapting. We have to produce food, clothes, necessary things for the journey ahead. The plants of the steppe are once again sustaining a population that makes me proud. She stops at the half-empty dust house. We brought this from the Greenway. With mulch. I admit it's hard work for us, but we're not familiar with these plants. Can you help us? Of course. I know that the eye is suffering, that it is a risk. I know what it's like. Thanks. I wish I had a lesson to share with you from our loss of steppe. For the moment, I cannot see what that might be. She gathers herself. If it gives you meaning, the work here is steady and worthwhile. If you do not have time, I will not blame you. Hold on to your memory, but not too tightly. Sadness will not sustain you. She falls silent, and you both watch the work in the dust house for a while. You can already see a greening fringe of moss on the green. Will you soon be like the people of the steppe, leaving you behind the home? Or will you be stubborn? You wait a little longer with Aki, the moment of welcome suspension in time. A rare moment in the rush towards the end. You glance at Aki and she puts a hand on your shoulder in solidarity. After a short while, Aki sighs. It's good to see you, Sleeper. Perhaps we'll see each other again before we depart. Aki turns back for a moment as if she wants to say something, but then she turned away. Let's see, are you gonna be whining at me? Come to Jinji Exodus, Sleeper? Not quite. I suppose you are here on Sol's order again. Nothing Emperor's hearts like to do more than ordering people around. I'm here by choice, fair enough. Just our timing seems to always be a cycle or two after we get some requests from the Heart ship. Must be a coincidence. So has it lucky anyway. His request for us to dismantle the Axis and be the vanguard for the flotilla onward the journey perfectly aligns with our plans. What plans? If we can build our escapes, and make the Heart ship think we are complying with their orders at the same time, then it's a 2-in-1 for us. Those leaders will never see them coming. Sure. Leaving the flotilla? We are our own flotilla, Sleeper. We're not going to tie ourselves to Heart and Slip any longer. Why would we? Look, nothing against you or yours, Sleeper, but we have to get out from under the shadow of Steppe and Hearth. And this is the time. We won't let the flux catch us again, not a chance. What about the people that are gonna die? Want to help us make the leap? Grab the torch or talk to the crew. You're welcome to it. Every person here is to prove themselves. Alright. Just a stop on the road, Sleeper. I'm afraid that's all this was. A lot of space out there for those willing to take it. Stay strong. Uh-huh. Well, let's go and sleep. Once again, we have a bunch of tasks to do. Let's go. One thing at a time. First, I want to do some engineering checks, so I might be able to get some random scrap. Pretty please, random scrap. No random scrap. That's too bad. Alright then. I'll use this one for photosynthesis. Alright, neutral outcome is fine. Oh, we did get some scrap actually, I think. Nice. I just didn't see the pop-up. Anyway, let's finish this. Nice. I took some energy damage. Just keep coming. Perhaps the flux event scared enough people that they really believe the eye will collapse. Perhaps they're sick of Evanhage, or the council's infighting and the hardliners. Or perhaps they just wanted to take a chance at some new future, at a place that is anywhere but here. Whatever it is, the evacuees don't stop. They come on the flotilla shuttles and their own ships, however they can. You've seen so many faces pass that they're almost as meaningless now, a pair of features that seem both familiar and distant. You've been helping people, lifting bags, bringing supplies, directing them to the berth you thought built. Some of them recoil from your touch, some still unfamiliar with the sleepers. Others treat you with pity, some with hate, snatching your bags and storming off. Still you help. Carry boxes and bags, nothing can stop you. Not until you see Lem and Mina. Lem is hugging a set of heavy bags, weighed down by them, while Mina trails alongside, looking bored. They walk beside an older lady, and as she climbs off the bay, they embrace. You watch as Mina hides behind her father, angry that she has to say goodbye. You realize that this must be Esther, her sometimes babysitter. So she is leaving. You feel sudden relief and realize that when you saw them here, you thought they might join the evacuees. That thought filled you with inexplicable dread. Mina is still eventually persuaded to say goodbye, and she embraces the woman tearfully, clinging to her legs. The woman leaving, waving one last goodbye. Souls guys can take her bags from her. You watch the distance play out. You watch the scene play out at the distance. You see Lem and Mina turn to leave. Go to them. Sleeper! Lem greets you enthusiastically. And when she sees you, Mina approaches, smiling through the tear. Good to see you. Sorry this one would say hi, but she's a little too overwhelmed. You aren't going to, aren't you? I am staying. Glad to hear it. He shifts his weight. What do you think of this, Sleeper? Is the flux going to take this place down? There's all kind of crazy rumors flying around. Some folks even say they're starting up the old Count channel. That's crazy, right? Don't listen to the rumors. That's what I always say. The Lewin loves gossips, and it gets wilder and wilder the more time people tell it. It gives you a sideways look, and you get the feeling he doesn't quite believe you. Remember that Lem used to be a corporate military contractor. You imagine he knows more about the systems and history than he is letting on. Don't leave us. Mina suddenly leaps out of Lem's arms and grabs you. You stumble under the sudden weight. I'm not going anywhere. Mina nuzzles into your neck silently. Sorry, she's a little overwhelmed, like I said. A little hungry too, right, Meanie? Better go find a place. So good to see you. You should come and look at the apartment when you have time. We both love that. Come here. Leans over and with Mina still in your hands, she gives you an awkward hug. Take care, Sleeper. Just before they disappear, Mina catches one last bright-eyed glance at you. Her face a mask of stubbornness, hiding a trembling hint of fear. Reroll. Not great reroll. Let me go and eat a bit so we don't take any more energy damage. Alright, a bit more. Good thing we have infinite money. And repair. The less of my scraps. Unless I get more. Alright. Let's step out of the dust houses. We can help with the harvest automation. I'll use my ones and stuff on this. The +2. Ooh, lots of positive outcomes. Ooh, we got lucky on this one. Well, that worked out. I guess it's time for me to start using some of the stabilizers we have saved up. Ooh, good dices. Ooh, engineering. I love this place. Use all the 5s on this. Maybe I can get some scrap again. Ouch, energy gone. No scrap. Let me go and eat a bit, so we don't take any more accidental energy damage. Just in case. Okay. Let's go back. Help him out. Automation. And that'll be that. Done. You sit in one corner of the dust house and inspect your work. This dust house, the one where plants from the Greenway and some of the steppe species intermingle, has become your favorite. The moss and dust string the space in curving terraces, the pale knots of steppe silk freckled with yellowing lacquer symbiotes. It's a hypnotic arrangement. You look down and see an intertwining of fungal threads and dust-caked roots, and feel a little glow of pride of what has been achieved. You hear the entry lock in the dust house is open, and you're assuming it's Aki. You turn to her. It's Rico. Sleeper, I should have known you'd be here. Maybe one of the most green-fingered people in the station. Rico. Has it been that long? No need for any drama. I met some of the Steppes refugees in the Greenway. They were gathering plants and I confronted them. Turns out they were very friendly. Aki was very apologetic, but I told them they were welcome to anything they liked. She told me I'd be welcome to see, and well, I thought I'd take her up on the offer. I have to say I'm glad I did. You know Aki? A little. She's a fine botanist and even finer conversationalist. Two rare qualities on the station in my experience. How about you take me down for a tour? You take Rico in hand and walk around the hybrid dust house. You show her how the Steppe 6 knocks help provide a strong base for fungal and algal growth, and how the dust mixes with the spores. You show her the different species of steppe tubers, and the way they feed the soil with nutrients. She stops after a while. I know something is happening to the eye, Sleeper. We all felt the flux event hit, and everyone is talking about what's next. I came out here to figure something out, to understand what this is all about. I think I've decided. What you have done here, what Aki and the other steppe refugees have done here, is incredible. A whole new ecosystem built from the strange artificial changed remains of two worlds. But I'm not of two worlds. I am the Eye. Like it or not, I'm intertwined with the station. I'm old growth. I don't have much time anymore. It seems to accelerate every cycle. Separates, overlaps, comes back to me in strange ways. The time I do have, that's the time I want to spend on the Eye in the Greenway. Watching things grow. One day I'll lie in those fields and I'll get back up. She smiles, the tears tracking down both her cheeks, and when the green takes me, I'll be glad. It's okay. I'm not leaving anyway. But that's enough of me blubbering about. What I want to know is, what are you planning? I'm staying. We all have to. Why is everybody asking me the same question? We all have to get to know ourselves, Sleeper, to know what it is that drives us. I'm sure they decide to act in the manner you. Did I just say not? Did I just say nothing? Looks like she's responding like I said nothing. Don't let me forget this. She reaches into her coat and pulls out a transparent bag of spore and club heads. I like to plan these. If you go, you'll need them. She looks down at her feet, and if you don't, maybe another sleeper will benefit. I can offer that at least. That's nice. Don't thank me. These are yours by right. She gently takes the club heads out and beds them into the soil there with precise expert hands. You should go, Sleeper. I'll be a while. See you around. See you around. Aki's waiting. It's beautiful. The plants look happy together. She spots Rico with her hands. Ah, the botanist came. A friend of yours? Something like that. She speaks beautifully about her Greenway. We should go in and welcome her. Are you leaving us? For now. The first of many goodbyes. She suddenly embraces you, wrapping you in her layers of rough cloth. She pulls back. I wish you a steady step and a clear path. Farewell from my world. I wish you the same. She nods and smiles one last warm smile before turning and entering the dust house. You watch as you walk inside, Rico turning with a smile that greets her. She kneels beside the botanist and you see her pointing to the club heads, asking questions. You're unable to hear them, but despite that, you can easily imagine the measured, even-toned, laced with excitement that Rico is using to explain the club heads, the Greenway, and much, much more. You turn and leave. Okay. Since we have to do both of these, I'm guessing we have to do both of these quest lines to finish this DLC. Why would I choose to leave? If we... Just because we don't want to face the risk of what the gardener is gonna do? Anyway, time to do some stuff. Engineering, please give me some scrap. I kinda want it. I need it. For living purposes. Come on. Man, no scrap. Oh well. The docking axe is little more than a shell. Everything that could have been pulled from its interior, every arm that not used for docking, has been cut away. What remains is a Spartan void with a patchwork of flooring that allows movement. Thousands of unusable materials are tucked away in the corner. You haven't seen Peter since you last spoke, and now you realize that you probably never will. There are plans to be made, escapes to plot, the Shadow of Hearth to escape. The chaos has become a true diligence now. Crews cross the axis from ship to ship at speed, bringing supplies or advice. Perhaps meeting up to discuss travel directors and hushed tones. Among the Singer's crews, you recognizable from their specialist clothing and offer-shorn heads, you see occasional refugees, a paying passengers or a replacement engineer. or pilot from the eye. Most of the crews have 2 or 3 of these additions, some more, but you can't help but wish that for whatever reason bring them to throw their lot in with the singer's crew. They will have a safe passage. Then one of them catches your eyes. Tala. You freeze for a second. What is she doing here? She glances around, feeling your eyes on her, and catches your eye. Sleeper! What are you doing here? Sleeper. I'm going to the Star World Belt. That's like the opposite of all your life's goal, isn't it? Do you remember me mentioning my family, my sleeper, my brother? He came here with me, with my family, and he left for the Star Wars Belt, so I'm going there. I'm an idiot. I'm going after him. Alone? I guess so. I really don't know if it makes sense or if it's the right thing, but ever since I heard there was the refugee ever since I heard that was where the refugee flotilla was going, I couldn't stop thinking about it. What about your bar? Someone would have to run it. I mean, I can ask Francis. Francis, he'd be happy to, or one or the other. And of course, if you're leaving with a flotilla or someone else, it'd be totally okay. You wouldn't need to say yes. I was thinking you. I'm not staying. Right, I could ask someone else then. But there's not exactly much time. So consider that. Considering that, she grabs the key hanging around her neck. Do you want to do it? I can't. I get it. I always do this. Leave everything so late. Make decisions quickly so I can change my mind. It's not on you. If you're going to leave, well, maybe we'll see each other out there. That'd be nice. Maybe once I find my brother. She stops herself. I better get going. Not a good start to keep my guys waiting. Thanks again, Sleeper. I wouldn't have been able to leave if I hadn't made things work here. Dad wouldn't have let me. See you out there. Something like that. The Tala turns, heading back to the crew that will carry her to the Star Wars Belt. You know her energy will carry her forward and hope her brother is somewhere on the right path. Imagine yourself leaving like Tala, unburdened perhaps, or maybe carrying new burdens. It's hard to tell. Anyway, you have to choose soon. Can't upgrade anything. Well, we're done, right? It's all good. It's all done. I just gotta wait now? Just gotta wait now. Alright. Bulb. I do have mushrooms to grow. Or harvest. Give me some of those rares, please. I want club heads. Kind of important to my survival. Yay, we got some. Let me make a bit of money by selling some mushrooms and eating some too. Hey, salvagers are here. Nice. That'll help. Salvagers. Oh, it's the same as before. They're not new ones. Oh well. I can use these last dices for mushroom harvesting. The only risk is losing energy, which I can easily regain. You know, we might get lucky or unlucky. We'll see. Unlucky. Oh well. That's alright. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cycles again to wait through. I guess I should use some stabilizer. Peak Slate chirps. The connection is ready. Meet me at the Founder's Gap, Greenway side. Peak. It's time. Alright. You find Peak waiting near where you first met, at the entrance of the docking tunnel for the Founder's Ferry. They're leaning beside the wall in the flickering light, and you realize now how different they look when you first met. There's darkness around their eyes, a sense of exhaustion, but also solidity, a sense of purpose and self-knowledge. They look concrete, for want of a better word, solid. Sleeper, glad you came. Of course. The break in the connection is up ahead. They walk away from the docking tunnel into the ragged doggy way, doggy way. Okay, doggo. He, go. E3. Okay, there goes the dog. He's out. He's gone. The connection, the break in the connection is up ahead. They walk away from the docking tunnel into a ragged, half-crushed corridor that descends into darkness. As you descend through the layers of the broken edge of the eye, Peak talks, filling the silence. I had to hunt all over this part of the eye to find the point where the connection was broken. This hole, the gap, got knocked into the eye when the Solheim collapsed. It's impossible to tell who did it. I guess they tried to scuttle the eye. If Solheim couldn't keep hold of the fancy news station, well, no one could. This place has always been on borrowed time. I've managed to weave together the old connection and run a new patch down where the main lines still run. Just like keeping those old XPR platforms running. She would be proud if she bothered to help. As Peak goes quiet, the corridor opens out into a wider, twisted passage. This is a connection point. You can see where Peak has levered off a panel and hooked up a thick cable. As thick as a tree trunk, it snakes into the dark ahead. What now? Now we make the connection. You both stand there staring at the point where the new cable meets the old one. The ends separate, fitted with multi-pin male and female connectors and braced inside a metal framework with a scissoring mechanism. Bring them together, seal them, and the greenway will be connected. Peak shifts their weight on one hip. I feel like this should be more momentous, like there should be some ritual ceremony. Or someone should stop us. May I just do it? Pull the plaster off right? Okay. They hold both sides of the supporting framework ready to scissor it closed. Here we go. Peak wrenches the framework together. She wrenches the framework closed, and the connectors stunk together with a sound that echoes down the ruined corridor. Both you and Peak wait with bated breath, unsure what it is you're waiting for. You expect the eye to suddenly stop spinning, or lurch on its axis for the power to go out, or a shockwave to run through the corridors? You meet Peak's eyes, and suddenly they burst out laughing. What are we waiting for? I feel like we just planted a tree and are expecting it to burst out of the ground. But you feel it. You feel it flowing like a stream that has been released from a cave. It rushes out into the sunlight, crystalline and clear. You hear it. You swear you can hear it running into the wire, like rain, like water, like steam. It rushes. You can see it, can't you? You can't see it, not with your eyes, but it's everywhere, and now it's out. It can't be put back, and it can't be put back in. That much is clear. You imagine the rim of the eye like sponge, like soil, soaking up the gardener in the chorus, the gaps filling with the burbling, constant growing life. The gardener is free. Peak nods slowly and closes their eyes. Suddenly Peak's sage chirps. They jump and scramble for it. What happened? It's Esche. She's leaving. Before can speak up, they turned away and are moving back up the passageways, back towards the entrance. They don't turn, they don't respond, and you watch their silhouette lit by their slate torch disappear rapidly around the corner. You take out the slate Peak gave you and turn it on the torch. The wires all around you like pale roots in the harsh lights, and you turn away from them. They're the gardeners now. You work your way back to the corridors. You imagine Peak panicked, running towards the corridor, realizing their greatest fear has come past. You wonder if they'll be able to persuade Esche to stay. If Esche is going, you think, then the flotilla must be leaving too. The thought makes you shiver in the darkness, and you push it away. You're not ready. You focus on avoiding the hanging wires, the low ceiling, and make your way back out. Caster's waiting for you. Now, Sleeper. No need to fear. I understand now. It was my mistake to try to force you. A miscalculation. I won't hold you here, Sleeper, but I wish to speak. Sure. You stop giving Caster his opportunity. Caster nods. At first, I thought that if you'll excuse the turn of phrase, taking possession of your particular talents was the opportunity. But you are more than that, and I understand that now. Your arrival at a station where your ability to touch the network, this makes you the very definition of a wild card. Senet stat analysis, my analysis, we could never have accounted for you. The system, the Halayan system, is about to experience a significant change, about to open up to Senet staff's bailiffs, Conway's claimants, and every industry and limit an active Khan channel brings. Yet this very cycle, you let another wild card free, the Gardener. I have to admit, this development makes me afraid, Sleeper. It makes me afraid what an intelligence like this will sacrifice to protect itself, or what atrocities it might commit through madness, and yet, what a compelling object such an intelligence is. Let me protect you, mark you, keep Senet stat from limiting you by force or legal experience. Or legal expediency. Let me protect you, mark you out, Keep Senate from eliminating you by force or legal expediency, as they will every other squatter on this ring. Caster claps for their hands together. In exchange, when Senate comes to this place, you facilitate the handover. You come the protocols, you give us the garden. And I go free? You go free. Do you accept? Can you even promise such a thing? Your head swims at the thought of controlling the gardener. Also the idea of the eye being claimed by the Senate, and every person deported and rehoused or worst. Nah, I'm good. Caster takes their glass and polishes. Disappointing. You begin to leave. I do not wish to see you lost. You are a great value if you ever want to see that realized. You push past, ignoring him, and his voice fades. Thus you see of him as a slow nod, perhaps a mark of resignation, or just another differential gesture aimed at manipulating your response. It doesn't matter either way, you're done with him. You head to the cordon. I head to the cordon. One mouse scroll, squeal, bleed, bleed. We're into the chaos of the cordon. The final shuttle are leaving the ramshackle docks. The final shuttles are leaving the ramshackle docks that have formed along the edge of the gap during the flotilla stay. As they do, groups of evacuees push on board, hoping to be among the final people to escape from the eye. The fear created by the Flux event became a series of rumors, and those rumors have driven many out of their homes. Others have staunchly doubled down on their position on the eye and refusing to accept any gossip of a second collapse. You're unsure what you think. Is the collapse a certainty? Will Peak's action this cycle have changed anything at all? You don't have these questions. Instead, you set off to look for your friends. You quickly spot Peak and Eshe at the far side of the chaotic bay. You quickly make your way to the crowd, slipping beneath the gaps. Progress is slow, but as you approach, you can hear the voice of the crowd. You have to make your decision, Peak, and it puts you against me. No, you made your decision, and it put you against me. Eshe is standing with one foot on the boarding ramp, while Peak argues with her. The evacuees are eyeing them, eager to intervene, but intimidated by Eshe's evident strength and attitude. Eshe, doesn't have to be like this. We can find a way. I've always protected you, Peak. I have taken you under my wing. But understand that you are not mine to control, and you have chosen to be here not with me, despite everything. I've chosen to stop running. You can choose to stop running too. We can stay here and try to live. Don't you remember what it feels like to live, Eshe? I remember what it was like to live on Hawthorne. What it was like to be worried about you for your safety every cycle. To live under the control of my mother, of the administration. The work to maintain something that no one wanted, no one needed, that our corporation could maintain a foothold on this system. You talk as if well, it looks like the author made a good decision because it's about to be reborn. You talk as if this place is the very same system. You talk as if this place in the very same system is any different. What is there here but the same grind for other masters, or employers, administrators, for those whose gain from our struggles? There may not be a corporation controlling the eye, but there is power in action here. So what then? You run from anyone and everyone who could ever be close to you in search for freedom? In search of some perfect place where no one has power over you? I want to be part of something, Eshe, even if it is broken and suffering, even if it cannot be free. Eshe pauses and takes a breath. This isn't Hawthorne anymore. We aren't tied by our childhood or by our shared need to escape. We're both people in the system. I release you, Peak. You are free of me. Eshe, please. There's a life here if you want it. Then you live it for me, Peak. I can't. What an asshole. The crowds are dispersing now as they move onto the shuttle and say their goodbyes. Sleeper, she's gone. I'll miss the Briar, but she'll serve Eshe well, I know that. Sleeper, you see Saul coming in. He reaches you, his suit hissing. Can't believe you'd make an old man run across the bay to get you. The singers have gone. They left at the start of the cycle. They broke away from the flotilla. He smiles as you think of Tala, safely cradled within one of those ships. Godspeed, Tala. What are you smiling at? They forced our hands. We have to leave now. If we follow close enough behind, maybe they'll end up being our scouts anyway. I reckon any hostile spacers out there will give them a wide berth. Pilgrim Seed will take a little time to make our way to the cordon, but I'm heading back now to get her started. Thankfully, the step ships are sticking with us, so we'll be plenty well supplied for the journey to the belt. Anyway, I didn't plod all the way down here to tell you that. He looks between me and Peak. It's now or never, Sleeper. I'm good to my word and I keep a berth for you. But this is your last chance to make it. Make a call. You glance out at the flotilla. You think of the long journey to the Star World Belt, of the people inside the Pilgrim Sea, of the possible future that awaits. When you think of the people here on the eye, of Peak beside you, of the small shifts yet to come, and the routines that ground you, or the possibilities. I'll stay. You open your mouth to speak. Yeah, I'm staying. You say the words. In the moments you do, the weight of it all seems to descend around on you. You stumble a little, then stand straight, refusing to be crushed. You feel a tightness in your chest and a haze blurring your thoughts. Saul nods. Good luck. You'll need it. You grips your shoulder and meets your eye. In the haze, his pitted and rough hand feels so real, so detailed that it grounds you. And then it's gone. Saul goes with it, quickly moving to the waiting shuttle. As he does, you watch, unable to speak, your whole body pulsing. Then another hand falls on your shoulder, and it grounds you once more. You turn to see Peak. Let's go, sleeper. You nod, seeing how unsteady you are on your feet. Peak puts an arm around you and stirs you towards the entrance of the bay. As they do, you hear the roar, feel the wind, and as the shuttle lifts off and angles towards the flotilla, you don't turn. Instead, you keep your eyes down and focus on each step. As you do, you feel Peak beside you, holding a little of your weight, and holding a little of theirs. This is how it will be for many cycles after you both leave the bay and head back into the eye. You both hold things for each other, remind each other of the choices you made, remind each other of why it's important to keep going despite the moment where it seems impossible. The support will be vital for the second flux when the event hits the hit. Blah blah blah. It'll be vital when the second flux event hits the eye, when it knocks the entire free spoke off the power grid, making the whole station lurch with a sickening motion. When it cripples systems and corrupts processes, leading sections of the station to go dark or start emitting oxygen. When holding on is all you can do while the world seems to come apart around you. And yet somehow the eye will persist. Systems will resist total collapse in ways that will seem inexplicable to many, but to you and Peak they'll give a signal to awakening of a new force within the station. That new force will bring new change, new possibilities, new challenges. Strange growths will be reported all around the station in the wake of the flux events. Fungal crust pushing through pipes and wiring. The eye will go wild and fecund, becoming a station of increasing unpredictability, prone to seasonal rhythms of spore clouds and sudden growth spurts. There will be a strange and unsettling beauty to this paradigm shift, as the greening of the station turns it from a corporate ruin to some altogether a new assemblage of biological and mechanical structure. Rico will take on this challenge with energy that seems impossible for her age, and until her final day she will delight in the new mysteries of the eyes and its gardener's produce. As this new era consolidates around the stations, you'll find yourself back in the rhythm of odd jobs and loose contracts, working to keep the eye running, and your own needs met. But now many residents will call for you specifically, and before long you'll be known as the fixer, a helper, a friend to many. On occasion, after a long shift at the Battalion, you'll hear the sound of the stray mewling, and you'll crumple up some food and sit and watch the cat eat, as if it's the only thing in your world that matters. In all this newness, the bad old ways will still intrude. Senate sad, frustrated by the eye's resilience, will begin to send more physical threats, and supply ships and traders will suddenly stop by a blockade of corporate militia. Life on the eye will be punctuated by a wide channel broadcast from Senate Sat, stating legal precedents and quoting deeds of ownership, staking a claim on the system. Meanwhile, Avenage hardliners will fizzle out, losing their grip on Avenage Council. In the wake, Ellen will spear a series of reforms that will scale back Avenage's overreach, returning them to the caretaker role they had always intended to fulfill. As the cycles roll on and the threats gather, new broadcasts will join them, sent by Conway Extraction, making counterclaims. And many of the eyes will grow quiet, losing their appetite for debating these political machinations as they tilt inexorably towards a corporate war. And ever on the eye will spin, growing now in strange ways, haunted by strange new growths and hostile cultures of increasing resilience. As the Helion system descends to crisis, you will find comfort in the fungal patterns, the familiar conversations, the spices, and the smells that will accumulate around you as your body continues its unavoidable decay. They settle around you like a veil, and in time it will be impossible to see the eye without seeing its many variants and versions, past and potential futures. And this masking of the world will mark your approaching end. And one cycle far from now, the accumulation of memories of tastes of people and places of moments will be the last thing you let go of. But for now, there's only you and Peak, arms around each other, walking slowly out of the bay. Two figures born of crippled systems linked together. In this moment, you focus only on the next step because this is the only way you have learned to persist. And to persist is to believe in the future. Any future at all. Any future possible. Alright. But now if I click the button continue, can I go and escape on the ship? Good music. I wonder how long the credits are. Ooh, big marketing team, I think. Production. Treasure hunters. Not sure what that means. Double jump communications. that was a neat expansion. It was alright. But I think I like the base game better. Because all the interwoven stories and timers and pressures, they make for a better gameplay loop, where you have to manage your resources more carefully. Whereas at the end game, it's you just throw your dices. Oh, localized in French, Japanese, and Chinese simplified. Neat. What happens next? Do I keep going? Nope, it's the end. Alright. Well, Citizen Sleeper 2 comes out tomorrow. So that'll be that. Anyway, pretty good game. I like it. It was alright. Decent. Okay, bye.